on the dot. Couldn't be more on time. We're going to go ahead and give it a few more seconds to let everybody start to come on in, and then we'll go ahead and start this presentation. But it's really good to see all of you. Listen, if you're on the website right now, I want you to do a test for me. I have my phone here. I don't know where it went.
Oh, I put it back here. I'm always moving things on him.
If you go to the website right now to amazingfitnessandhealth.com, and if you notice right underneath the video, that means if you're using a computer instead of a mobile phone or mobile device, you'll probably notice there's a Facebook chat bar down there, or a Facebook thingy. What do you call a Facebook?
Comment?
Yeah, I think it's yeah, that's it. I think we're going to use that as an attempt to try to communicate with those of you. I didn't install any chat type of thing. I'm not sure how to do chats with Google Hangouts that work every time. So if you want to, it's here. Let me show it to you. Right underneath the video is a little thing that you can stick comments in. Go ahead and do a test. Enter in a comment in there and see if we can use that as a way for you to ask us questions if we're not able to use, or if you're not able to use the Google chat interface. Go ahead and give that a shot right now, and then I'll just take a look at it from time to time to see if anything popped up. Right now we're at no comments, so I'm not sure if it's something broken on my side or nobody put any comments in.
Please help us out also, and let us know that you can see us and hear us. That would be a great thing to comment for us.
Yeah, all right. Okay, well, it looks like there's 51 of us online. We're going to... Oh, we got comments. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Look at that.
Thank you.
They all came through.
Awesome.
Fantastic.
Welcome to our living room.
Yeah, we're doing this straight out of our living room, and we couldn't have just, I mean, talk about last minute. We had a busy day today, and we put all of this together, and hopefully it'll come out just the way we hope for. So to give you a little idea of what we're doing tonight, let me just go ahead and tell you what we're going to do is give you a full preview of our 2-day amazing fitness and health mastery. And where this came about was, a long time ago we created a course. It was a 1-day mastery called the Metabolic Mastery Intensive, and then that kind of expanded, because the Metabolic Mastery Intensive was my course where I showed how to master every aspect of body transformation. So how to lose as much fat as quickly as possible with the least amount of effort, how to be able to build all the muscle that you want as quickly as you can with the least amount of effort, and then how to maintain that for the rest of your life with the least amount of energy, effort, exercise, and strict dieting. This I'm like, because for a lot of people know what it takes to get in shape, but then they stop themselves because they fear that it's going to require a humongous amount of effort for the rest of their lives to stay in shape. So I eliminated that by showing teaching how the body really works. And once you learn how the body really works from a cellular standpoint, understand real exercise physiology, you understand what it really truly takes to be able to create results and then keep them for the rest of your life. And you'd be so surprised at how little it takes to maintain results, and you have no idea. Well, some of you do. If you're in my Smoothie Shred program, yeah,
it takes very little to maintain.
Then you know how quickly you can achieve results once you set everything up. Then what started happening was people started asking us about creating more health-related stuff, and I kept sending them to Brooke. I said, well, Brooke's the girl to talk to. If you want to learn how to change your health, then you got to talk to Brooke. So then she created a mastery program, right? And it was the Amazing Health Mastery that we did.
And we just did one of those actually in Austin, Texas, and some of you guys might have been there. It was a very intimate group though, and that was just a full day of teaching about everything I know about how to heal yourself using supermarket foods, and to heal yourself from any disease. I mean, I'm talking about anything from cancer to autoimmune disease to any kind of inflammatory illness, chronic pain, chronic fatigue, even talked about reversing aging. I mean, everything that people are looking for, how to have endless amounts of energy and to do it all naturally so you don't require medications or stimulants or other things to try to keep yourself going, but you're naturally healthy and full of life. And so we did that for a full day out in Austin, and we had a fantastic time.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah.
So then what we decided was, how do we put the two together? And let's make it a 2-day event, because I felt that
so many people want both.
The two go hand in hand, because after we finished her Amazing Health Mastery, guess what everybody was asking about? Well, how do I use this information to lose a lot of body fat? How do I use this information to get in better shape and look better and all that stuff? I want to be healthy and I want to be fit. So that's how we created the amazing fitness and health mastery, which is what we're going to be doing in Vegas. So the reason we're doing this preview, and here's what you're going to get out of this preview, by the way, just so you know. The preview, we're going to go through every single section, almost identical to the way we teach it, and we're going to give you at least one big important nugget out of every one. So that way you can get a real taste of it. It's not going to be one of those teasers. We're really going to be sharing you some just really solid content. Now you got to realize the 2-day mastery, it's 2 full days. And we're going to be just doing this for 90 minutes. So we're not going to be able to teach you everything. We are going to be able to promise to teach you at least one big nugget that you'll be able to walk away with and apply to your life and get just instant results.
Just
right
any
away.
nugget, golden nuggets.
Yeah, major golden nuggets. You're going to get that. And then that way you can use this information, you can use our experience here to make a good buying decision for you to decide if you want to come to Vegas with us. So let me go ahead and tell you right now, there are, we opened it up, there's only 20 total spots because
it's super intimate.
The way we're setting it up is it's intimate. What we did was we rented a suite and all of the training is going to be done in our suite. We can only physically hold just 20 people. That's it. It's a 1,500 square foot suite, and then half of it is taken up by the sleeping room. So the rest of it, that's it. And so right now there are only 17 total spots, and I'm going to say there's less than that because we had a group in Las Vegas when we were there just a couple months ago. Pre-purchased the program, which included tickets to the 2-day mastery. All they've got to do is just reserve their spot. They've already got their tickets. They just got to reserve their spot. So there's a good chance there's probably less than 14 or 13 total spots left. Okay, so if at any point you're feeling, hey, this speaks to me and I want to do it, I'm going to encourage you to get yourself registered because of 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't know if there's going to be enough spots left. And number 2, we are offering it at the absolute lowest price that you could ever get it. Okay, there's no other discounts that you could ever get on what we're offering now, and then that discount goes away after tomorrow. All right, so with that said, I think we want to go ahead and get started. So we should tell everybody who doesn't know who we are or what our background is a little bit about our why we have earned the right to be able to teach this stuff. So why don't you go first, since you're going to be.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, so while I am Mrs. Tadlock, I go by Brooke Goldner, MD, and I'm a board-certified medical doctor. I'm also a best-selling author. I have a book called Goodbye Lupus. Oh, I have it. Hold on. This is a best-selling book about myself and also my green smoothie recipe book that I have out there. And I'm also an educator, a teacher. I've taught doctors from all over the world and my healing nutrition, as well as patients and clients from all over the world, how to heal disease with supermarket foods. Now, the reason that I can do what I do today actually is because before I was a doctor and an author and a teacher, I was a patient. And when I was 16 years old, I was told that I had a severe, deadly disease called lupus. And that I was in such severe kidney failure, I had stage 4 kidney failure, that it was extremely aggressive. And if we didn't do an experimental treatment that involved chemotherapy, that I probably had 6 months to live. And at best, just using steroids and the traditional treatments, I could hope for dialysis, and at worst, I wouldn't make it. That was at 16 years old. And it was just the most, I mean, I can't even call it difficult. It was traumatizing and just really mind-blowing as a 16-year-old just to try to understand what it really meant to have my life on the line. Now, my family, they were able to absorb it much more, and I'll never forget what it was like to hear my mom crying behind her bedroom door at night when she thought I couldn't hear her. And one night, seeing my grandmother on her knees begging God to take her and spare me. And so it was really so difficult for my entire family, but we all gathered together and got behind my doctor's plans, and we did the chemotherapy treatment. And at the time it was experimental, they didn't know how long to do it. So I did it for 2 years straight. 2 years of chemotherapy plus high dose steroids, 16 to 18 years old. And the good news was the drugs put me in remission and saved my kidneys, meaning that the disease was less active. That's what remission means, right? Remission isn't a cure. Remission means you're not dying right now. You're stable right now. So it put me in remission and allowed me to keep pursuing what my dreams were, which were to be a doctor. I wanted to help people not suffer. I wanted to help people heal and live their purpose. And I believed I could do that best as a doctor. And so I was able to go to my top choice of college, and thankfully, even while on chemo, I was able to keep up my grades and get scholarship to my favorite college, and did well through college because I could still sleep when I wanted to, but decided to go to medical school, which is not really the best choice when your disease dictates that you have to always get enough sleep and avoid all stress. So medicine was not recommended for me, but I did it anyway. And what happened was by the third year of medical school, because of the stress and lack of sleep, I ended up getting a new disease coming from the lupus, an autoimmune disease, where I ended up getting a mini stroke, a transient ischemic attack, because I was sending blood clots into my brain. And I almost died at that point again. Thankfully, it was something I had a complete recovery from. But at that point in my life, I knew that the clock was ticking. My doctors told me I could never have children. They told me that I wouldn't live a long time, and I would probably become disabled before I actually became deathly ill. And so all I could do was take my medicines so I could stay alive and so I could live my purpose. And that's what really always mattered to me. The way I got through all of this was I never took disease on as who I was. I took it on as something I had to overcome so I could be who I was. And what I knew I was inside was a healer, and I wanted to do that more than anything. So at that point in time, I was told that I had to take blood thinners every day, and they were actually injections that I had to give myself in the stomach every day so that I wouldn't have a stroke and that I could complete my training and become a doctor. And it was difficult because at that point they said definitely, you know, childbirth would be deadly, can't have children. I was also at high risk for bleeding out. Instead of having a clot stroke, I could bleed out if I hit my head. So it was scary, but it was also something that kept me going. And as far as I knew at the time, that's the only thing I could do was rely on medicine so that I could live. And that's really my life was at the point that the biggest miracle that ever happened to me, which was meeting Thomas Tadlock. And when he met me, I was sick. I was finishing up medical school, and I only had a couple months to go, and we fell in love so fast. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh! Within a month of meeting, we were talking about marriage. I mean, I don't know how many of you have met your soulmate, but I could say, and I cry every time, that I never believed in magic until I met Thomas. Yeah. And by the end of the first month, you know, he brought up marriage. He said, I know that this is what I want. And I knew it too. It's what I wanted too. But I hadn't really told him about my disease because, you know, you don't meet a hot guy and you lead with the lupus story. You know, that's not really how you get a second date. So, so at this point, I realized that if he wants a future with me, he deserves to know what's going on. And so I told him I have this disease and I'm not going to live a long time. I can never have your children. And you will end up taking care of me before you end up burying me. So is this something you really still want?
Yeah, and I said yes. I said if it's going to be a short life, it's going to be the best damn life she's ever had. And so we got married, and she said she wanted to get in the best shape she wanted to ever be in, so she could take really good pictures when we were going to go to Hawaii. She was going to be in a bathing suit, and she wanted to look really, really good. And so I put her, so at the time, what I was doing was I became a body transformation expert. And I'll tell you more about my story when it's time to teach my day. So, Brooke teaches day one. So it's going to be all about health because that is the foundation. You gotta start with your health. Nothing else matters at that point. Right. Day two is about taking what you learned from health and then turning your body into the most amazing, beautiful, strong, fit body you've ever seen, right. and be able to live that way for the rest of your life. And so what I was doing was I was transforming people's bodies. And the way I was able to do that was my background is in computer science. And so I think very differently when it comes to body transformation. I look at the human body and cells very similarly to the way I solve problems with computers. Mm-hmm. So that, I'm going to say it gave me a huge advantage in terms of results with people, because what I learned in the fitness industry and personal training and a lot of people in the health industry and wellness industry, they don't think the same way the computer scientists do. The computer science actually is derived from mathematics, so that there's proofs, algorithms, so on and so forth. And what I brought that in to nutrition and fitness to be able to get just duplicatable, consistent results with people that were measurable all the time. And it got to the point where I was so good at getting results with people so quickly, I was getting hired by casting agencies based out of Manhattan, and they did a lot of the casting for MTV, and they also managed a lot of recording artists. And these people would have to get super, super hot in a very short period of time. So they would bring me in all the way to New York just to work with these people for about 2 to 3 weeks, and I have to take them from being flabby with a beer gut to having a full-on six-pack or sexy stomach, so that way they can look good for their video shoots and their photo shoots.
And see, for me at that time, you know, you can hide a lot behind a white coat, you know, and I was on the hospital food diet, which hospital food is fantastic if you're looking to get fat and sick. Unfortunately, it's the truth. And so for me, I'd only ever dreamt of the white coat. I never dreamt of a white dress. I never allowed myself that fantasy. And so once I realized this was actually happening, I wanted to look like those girls on MTV. I wanted to look hot too. And at the time I was about a size 11, which is, you know, fairly average, but I wanted to be better than average. I was going to LA, UCLA for my residencies. I was at UCLA Harbor, and, you know, and I wanted to look amazing at our wedding. So I asked him, please, you know, it's not a setup. I'm not going to get mad at you. I just want to know, can you help me the way you help those guys? And one of the reasons I wanted to work with Thomas so badly was because he gets results and he doesn't hurt people. You know, so many people can lose tons of weight by starving themselves and working out like madness, and they'll lose all this weight. And then within a couple days, they've gained 20 pounds back once they stop, because their metabolism has gone through the gutter and their body is all traumatized. And as soon as they go back to eating normally, boom, they gain weight. Some of you may be relating to this. So I didn't want that. I wanted something that was going to actually be helpful for my body. And one of the things he does is really nourish people so that their cells become healthier, and then it's easy to lose weight. So that's really why, you know, I did his program just out of sheer vanity of wanting to look hot at my wedding. And so, but we had to change the program because I didn't eat a typical diet. And so we made some changes where, you know, he had his usual MTV diet, and then there was the things that I needed because of what my dietary issues were. And so we changed it. And because of what we did together, we actually created the diet that ultimately ended up healing me. And so the first thing we knew is that I got really fit. But the other thing we realized is I felt better than ever. I was already an intern. And so I was working 30-hour shifts as an intern with lupus, right? And I had tons of energy. I was just in the best mood all the time. And I had no aches and pains, no migraines. I felt amazing, which, you know, I felt so good. My chairman pulled me aside to say that I seemed too energetic and happy for an intern. You know, that's how good I felt. So, you know, the couple things happened. One is at our wedding, this is what we ended up looking like. And maybe you guys can see it, but I went from a size 11 to a size 2-3 and was totally ripped for the first time in my life. But I felt so good. And what happened was I went to the doctor right before we left for the wedding, got all my blood tests done. It was a new doctor in California because we moved there. And when we were about to leave, the doctor said, I think we have the wrong results. There was some kind of lab error because these tests are negative for lupus. And any of you who know anything about autoimmune disease probably know that once you test positive for life, according to Western medicine. And so for me, having had lupus for 12 years at this time, 12 years of serious illness, it made no sense that I had negative tests. So said, okay, we don't know what this was, some kind of glitch. Went to our wedding, came back, retested, and my test results were even better. They were negative for lupus, and also my genetically high cholesterol was no longer high. My heart rate and blood pressure had come down 20, 30 points. So we didn't know exactly what happened. All we knew is I was in great shape and I felt great, so I was going to keep eating this way. And what ended up happening is after about a year, was it 2 years, I got fired by my rheumatologist because he said I alleged to have lupus, but he couldn't find anything wrong with me. And after 4 years, we decided to push the boundaries, and I decided to have a baby. And it was scary for everybody except me. I could feel that my body was healthy. I knew I was fine, but for everyone around me, they thought they were going to lose me. But I was able to convince Tommy, and we went ahead and did it. And I had a very healthy pregnancy. Show you that was, sorry, there you go. That was maybe about a week before I had the baby. And it's kind of dark, but you can see better. They told me that I was going to, if I didn't get sick and die during the pregnancy, then childbirth, the lupus was going to come back. 100%, they said, right? Yeah. 100% lupus is coming back either during the pregnancy or after you give birth. But guess what? Had a healthy pregnancy, healthy childbirth. And not only that, this is when we knew something was up, was 9 days after I gave birth, it was my birthday, and we went out, and I was back in my same size 2, size 3 jeans that I was wearing before I got pregnant. And so we realized something weird, and I wasn't
get the brightness turned
I
up.
wasn't doing anything. I was laying on the couch eating and nursing. I wasn't exercising, especially since I ended up having a C-section because my son was breech. So I felt amazing, and then I looked amazing. It was like I'd never had a baby, and it was only 9 days later. And so at that point, we realized something spectacular has happened here, because that doesn't usually happen with women. You know, I gained about 40 pounds during that pregnancy, and it was just gone. And so we realized that I no longer had a body that was sick. My body wanted to be healthy. My body wanted to be fit. And no matter what challenges I threw at it, internship, 30-hour shifts, pregnancy, C-section, surgery, no matter what we threw at my body, I just bounced back and felt amazing. And that's when we realized that we had done something spectacular. Something had changed in me. This was not a remission. I was healed. And so we spent the next 2 years reverse engineering everything we did, because all we did was change my diet, add some exercise. So we reverse engineered it, and we realized, looking at biochemistry, cellular biology, looking at what foods do to your cells that could possibly cause illness, and what foods possibly could help you with healing. And what we realized is, serendipitously, by accident, we had created the perfect, lowest possible inflammation diet there could possibly be that could cure almost anything. And so when we saw the science that fit with everything I'd experienced, we started running case studies, and we found we could reproduce it. We could do the same thing with other people. And with my mathematician guy right here, computer science guy, if it's not 100%, we don't teach it. And I gotta say, it's one of the things I love about the way you teach, Thomas, is that with health in general, it seems there's more mythology. There's mythology. What happens in often in nutrition science is something happens, there's a test result, and somebody reads that, and then they create a theory around it based on what they think is going on based on that result. And then they'll create a whole theory around it, and then they'll blog about it, and then other people will read it, and all of a sudden this becomes like fact. Like everyone goes, oh yes, that's, and you go, where did it come from? What is that science? That is, we don't work in mythology between the two of us. What we do is everything we teach not only is true scientifically, but it works with people, not in rats or, and anything else. This is every single person that we teach can do what we teach them, and they can get the same result. And so, that's one of the things whenever I teach doctors, I always put results typical on the screen because we're used to seeing like, oh, results not typical. Only the person in the case study had this result and everybody else got worse. No, everybody gets these results. And that's what's been so exciting for me, where I was medical director of a youth program, a nonprofit in Long Beach, California. And I ended up retiring from that to do this full time because I'm so excited about it. And it's just a message that the whole world needs. We have plenty of doctors that can prescribe, but I want to teach people how to get off their medicines so they can have the health that I was able to get, so that they can live their life, that they can grow old with the person they love, and have their children and their grandchildren. And so that's why we do what we do.
That's right. That's right. Another big thing too, it's also part of what I spend a lot of my time doing is helping people understand how to even interpret their results. Mm-hmm. I mean, those of you who are in our Smoothie Shredder Challenge, you know that I take body weight analysis to a whole different level, right? So what I'm saying is, like, sometimes things as simple as looking at your body weight and seeing a change or a few pounds going up or down, those type of things can lead people to jump into the wildest conclusions. And I've only seen this because, again, I came from a mathematics and a computer science background. And in mathematics and computer science, you don't make crap up. You have to,
no mythology.
You have to prove it. I mean, when I say prove it, I mean mathematical proofs to prove that what you said is right, and therefore it'll repeat and produce the same exact result over and over and over and over and over again. And then when I came into the fitness field and the health and wellness stuff, it's like people are just making crap up, just pulling it out of the rectum and then calling that a theory or a truth. It's just the strangest things. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it's just about a half a step in front of using a crystal ball to predict what's going to happen next to your future. It's the strangest thing. So what I'm hoping to do for all of you is, and what I do in those 2 days, It is help you achieve mastery of understanding truly how your body works, so that there is no more guesswork, there's no more theories, there's no more Googling, there's no more guru following either. You understand the stuff to such a degree where you should be teaching the gurus so that they get better results than they're currently getting. Yeah,
that is one of the most important things to us, is that we don't want to create people who need us in order to know what to do. We want you to walk away where you know so much, you will become the teacher, because that's what we want. We want to spread this like a virus. So we want everybody to be super healthy and fit. And so we want to teach you everything we know in such a way that you can teach it as well, which then the only way you can do that is if you understand it.
Yeah.
There's so many people out there that just say, here, do this, do this, do this, and just listen to me because I'm smart. And I admit there's a lot of doctors who do that, right? For me, that's never been what I do. And I think part of it is because I was a patient and I never did anything unless I understood why. So for me, why is so important. And so that's how I teach. It's how I teach people one-on-one who are my patients. It's how I teach when you're in the room. You better know backwards and forwards why something is true. And then Google will never fool you again. Because that's what ends up happening is you'll read something and go, oh, maybe this is bad for me. And then you read something else. You're like, oh, well, this says it's good for me. How do you know? We'll teach you how to know so that you can't be fooled by Google, and you'll know exactly what you need to do for your body and how to teach it to other people.
Okay, Brooke, it's 9:27 and we got to get to the teaching. So we want to get this done in a total of 90 minutes.
Well, I can show you. So
yeah. So Brooke, just so you can see, I mean, Brooke wrote this book. It's a smoothie recipe book. And then from there, she wrote this best-selling book called Goodbye Lupus. And what she writes in this book is what we expand on and what we teach for an entire day, so that you can master those steps. Because the same steps she used to be able to heal herself from lupus are the same steps that you're going to be able to use to heal virtually any inflammatory, not virtually, any inflammatory disease.
Yes.
Any inflammatory disease, completely healed,
which is most disease,
completely eradicated. And so, you know, she's become very famous since then. I mean, we've got on the front cover of this magazine, she's got on this cover twice. I mean, this was the previous month's issue. If you guys saw the John Mackey issue, here she is. And if you open it up, it's like half of the entire magazine is about Brooke and how awesome she is. So anyway, the whole point of that is so that you can at least believe the stuff that she's going to teach you. I mean, that's it. We spent way too long doing that. Let's teach them some stuff. What do you say?
Okay, so when you join us, it's going to be extremely intimate, and you're going to have a green smoothie while we're doing it. So one of the reasons that we're doing it very intimately is because we want to be super hands-on, and we want to teach you everything. We also want you to be able to practice everything and understand everything, and have us there with you, helping you, so that you know how to fix yourself and your own diet very concretely. Like, we're going to help you in person how to do that. And so the way I'm going to do this is I try to make things as easy as I can. And I mean super easy, super straightforward, no mysteries, okay? There's no man behind the curtain kind of stuff. We're going to tell you everything. And so I break it down into 2 halves of the day. Let's see if I can get this up. Oh, I see. So the first half of the day, well, actually, before I do that, what I'm going to do is, first of all, explain really what inflammatory illness is. What is illness? So, you know, a lot of times people think that they get sick because they have some kind of genetic issue, right? So they've got something wrong with their genetics, and so therefore they get sick. And that's pretty much what I was told. You have autoimmune disease in your family, and so that's why you have lupus. You have genetically high cholesterol. That's genetics. When my doctor diagnosed me with high cholesterol at 22, I asked him, what should I do? And he said, blame your parents. Nothing we can do. It's genetic. This is not true. What we know now is that your genetics is only about 5 to 10% max about whether or not you get sick at all. What your genetics tells you is what disease you will get if you get sick. Again, what disease you will get if you get sick. And how do you get sick? You trigger those genes through chronic inflammation. So when we talk about chronic inflammation, I'm not talking about healthy inflammation, you know, like you bang your knee. I do this all the time. I'm very clumsy. You bang your knee and it gets swollen. Well, that's because you have all these immune cells coming in to try to fix the problem, fix the injury you created. That's healthy inflammation. Chronic inflammation is when you are continuously getting ill because you are doing something to fuel it. And that all comes from what you eat. Okay. So my example then would be chronic inflammation would be if I kept hitting my knee in the same spot every day. Eventually, my body wouldn't be able to heal that anymore. Eventually, that would become a chronic illness where the tissue would become so destroyed, I probably would develop some kind of arthritis or skin necrosis where your skin breaks down and rots. So if that happens, you no longer just have a healthy inflammation from hitting your leg one time. You now have chronic inflammation because of repeated injury. What most people don't realize is you are repeatedly injuring yourself with what you're eating. The root of all inflammation, besides banging your leg, is coming from what you put into your body. Literally, what you put into your body is turned into the cells you are made of. You are what you eat, right? You've heard of that. So what you eat becomes your cells. Not only that, what you eat directly stimulates a whole series of chain reactions that occurs in your body. Now, those chain reactions could be reactions that help with healing, or those chain reactions could be a set of reactions that actually cause illness. And for most folks, they're doing the second one. They are causing illness with every meal. And what's really, really important to understand is it's not random weird foods. Like most people know eating McDonald's is not a good way to be healthy. But what most people don't realize is the majority of the foods they're eating on a daily basis are actually causing disease. So that's why I spend half the day doing the first 3 steps, which is eliminating inflammatory foods. Because if you don't know the foods that are making you sick, and if you don't understand why, then you are continuously going to be fighting disease. You're going to be continuously fighting for your health. It's kind of like if somebody has lung cancer and they're a smoker. We don't start off with just, hey, drink green smoothies and good luck, right? Green smoothies will be great, it fights cancer, but we start with, hey, you need to cut back on the smoking. You need to quit the smoking if possible, right? Because that's causing the damage. So let's say they do start doing stuff to improve their health. Maybe they start exercising more. Maybe they start doing green smoothies. Their body's going to have nutrients that they can use to start fighting cancer. But at the same time, every puff is causing more damage. And so then your body starts fighting, right? It can start healing some, but it can't heal all. And so the most important thing we can do is actually get rid of the foods that are making us sick every day. And so if you are struggling with your health and you feel like you're eating healthy, then there's something not right. There's something that you're doing that's actually causing disease. And I know, and we just taught Amazing Health Mastery in Austin, and by the end of just this section, there were some people who were banging their head. There were other people who were literally had tears, and other people's faces were red with anger because here they were thinking that they were eating healthy foods that were actually continuing their illness. So it's a really important thing. I talk about understanding why. It's one thing for someone to say, don't eat this. But for a lot of us, including myself, hearing that is just not enough to change what we do. It's like, 1, maybe I don't like you enough to listen. 2, maybe I'm a bit of a rebel. This is my problem. 3, you didn't teach me well enough, which actually that's truly the reason why I won't do something is I don't understand why in a clear enough way for me to make a decision. So if it's a choice between that looks really good and someone told me I probably shouldn't eat it, you're not gonna win that battle. And actually, we did an event out in Vegas before where someone came to me and it was a 3-day healing conference with all these different experts. And what people told me was at the end of 3 days, I was the only person that helped them realize why they should change their diet. Other people were saying to give up some of the same foods, but they didn't really feel motivated until they saw me speak and they got why they had to change. So that's what I do. I don't say, don't eat that plate of cookies. I say, hey, do you know the chocolate chips in that plate are actually roaches? And then you're like, I don't even want those cookies, right? That's the whole point is I help you understand so well that it's not someone telling you what to do. You know so much information, you want to make the change yourself. And that's what really works. When you look at smokers don't quit because people nag them. Smokers don't quit because their doctor says you should quit. They don't quit because their family says they should quit. They quit because they coughed up blood one day and they went, holy crap. Something's really terrible going on inside my body, or they get a scan that shows they have cancer. Now they know my smoking caused this and I want to quit. It comes from inside when you understand what you're doing and how the effect what you're doing is having on your body. And that's what I do. I basically, remove the curtain behind that because it's not obvious with food. It's not obvious that you're eating a certain food and it's causing your arthritis. because it doesn't seem connected. I ate that, I felt full, maybe I took a nap, and then, oh, I have arthritis. But once you understand the connection between the food and your disease, it becomes so easy to make the right decisions. So we promised to give you some tidbits. I can tell you just one thing. So we spend half a day talking about foods that cause inflammation and disease. And so, you know, and every one of them is extremely important. But I wanted to give you one for those of you who won't be able to come hang out with us in Vegas. One that you can start with right away is called dairy. So dairy usually gets people really upset because, one, we were taught our whole life that dairy products, so milk, yogurt, yes, yogurt, cottage cheese, ice cream, all those dairy products that we were told they were good for us. They create strong bones, they help you grow, all these, oh, they're good for weight loss. Tom will snicker at that one, you know, and all these different things that we're told are so important for us. They give us protein and calcium. And the truth is none of that is true. In fact, it is one of the most inflammatory foods that you can eat. And so if you want to just learn one thing that you can do to decrease your inflammation, it'd be to avoid dairy products. Now, I could go on about dairy. I could go on about each food for a day. But let me just give you some information to show you a little bit about how I teach it. So let me just, and I want to make sure that I follow my notes, because otherwise I will keep going on and Tom will never get a turn. So let me just tell you some of them. So, you know, I usually tell people, if you are lactose intolerant and you get diarrhea, then you're lucky, because at least the diarrhea showed you that I shouldn't be eating this, you know, although some people will take the lactate and do it anyway. You at least had a very clear signal from your body that this is not something good for you. But for the people who aren't lactose intolerant, or they just don't care about that part of it, they might not realize all the damage that's happening when they have dairy in their body and how it's connected to their disease. So one, it tends to cause chronic bloating. They did a study with Scientific American that just a few years back, where they showed what happens to the lining of your gut when you, so looking at the intestines, when you consume dairy products. So they looked at saturated fat from dairy and they exposed the colon to it, or the intestines to it. And what they saw was, because they noticed a lot of people have bloating, right? What they saw was one of the first things that happens is dairy completely, the saturated fat from the milk decimated the healthy bacteria in their gut. Now, some of you may have heard that everyone's talking about probiotics nowadays. Probiotics, they're life-saving, gut health, right? And so what do? They just tell you to buy probiotics, eat more yogurt. The yogurt caused it, right? They're telling you to invest your money in all sorts of different kinds of pills and things that can fix it, but you don't get a lot of information about where it came from. And what they've shown is saturated fat from dairy products actually immediately decimates the lining of all the healthy bacteria in your gut. So now all that's left over are the unhealthy bacteria and yeast and other things that have plenty of room to grow now and take over. And so you're going to get more bloated. But that's not the only problem. If you've got unhealthy bacteria growing in your gut and you've got no healthy bacteria to help fight back, you're going to have other issues. One issue they saw with that same study is that immediately there was the immune system responded to the intestines. So you're thinking you're just eating a meal that just goes through your intestines and out. No, your immune system actually gets called in, because whatever is going into your body, this dairy, is actually signaling the immune system that we need to do something, we need to fight. And what they saw is there is actual inflammation of the intestines. The cells of the intestines is getting inflamed just from reacting with the dairy. Now, if you have colitis, Crohn's, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel, any kind of inflammatory gut condition, I hope you're listening to that. Immediate inflammation from dairy. Now, I've had some people tell me, I had one person who had chronic bowel disease who said, but dairy's the only thing that feels better. When I drink milk, it feels like my bowels are more calm. So I thought maybe that was helping. I said, no, it's that effect, that's mythology. That effect is like hair of the dog. For those of you who don't know about it, it's, you know, if somebody drinks too much alcohol, what they tell you to do the next day to feel better is you have a drink, right? You have a beer or a Bloody Mary or something to feel better. Now, did the Bloody Mary fix the hangover? It made you healthy again? No, it actually just hid the problem. So it just prolonged the intoxication a little longer so that you wouldn't feel the hangover. But it actually continues the problem. It doesn't heal it. It's the same with the dairy. Some people think they feel better, but it's actually causing the problem to continue. So that's just one issue they saw. Other folks actually had hemorrhaging happening just from exposure to dairy. That was just one area. It's only one thing dairy does. Now there's so much more. T. Colin Campbell did experiments looking at what happens with tumors in animals that have dairy protein. So that we looked at the fat just now. We looked at allergy to lactose, right? That can cause diarrhea. Well, what about the proteins? There's casein and whey. They looked at casein protein, and they saw that animals that were exposed to casein in normal amounts that most people eat actually turned on cancer genes and started growing tumors. And then when they took the milk protein away, the tumors went away. And then they brought it back and the tumors came back. And so what they saw was that dairy actually works as a cancer promoter on the DNA level, and it does it for us too. And that's why in cultures that eat a lot of dairy products, we have way more cancer. And especially the hormonal cancers. Breast cancer has been linked to it. Prostate cancer, there's been some amazing research showing that prostate cancer is triggered by milk, okay? So when you're looking at people who are having issues with cancer, then we also have to look at how much dairy are they consuming, because that is directly promoting cancer growth. Pretty scary, right? Just those little bits. There's so much more. So another one, this one actually made me cry when I learned it. But dairy is also thought to be the primary food trigger for type 1 diabetes. So type 1 diabetes is thought to be autoimmune, right? Just like lupus. Well, what triggers it? Why do some kids suddenly destroy their own pancreas when they're little kids? Why does that happen? Well, there was some really interesting research done where they think that the lactoglobulin from dairy actually causes the T cell changes that create the autoimmune disease type 1 diabetes that develops later in people who are genetically prone to it. So again, your genes decide what disease you could get, and then what you expose yourself to actually causes those genes to be triggered. And so for me, knowing as a doctor, I was told to give children cow milk at 1 year old, you know, it just, and I ended up looking up the research because we were taught to do evidence-based medicine. So I said, where did that theory come from? There is no evidence that you should give kids cow milk or that it gives them any benefit at all. It was just kind of common. It was mythology. It was habit. And it was laziness. You know, and then you look at, you know, all those kids that are getting cow milk formula. Some of those kids developed diabetes. Those were the ones, right? And so that's why I suggest if you can't nurse your baby, doing milk donation, because human milk has far lower levels of this casein and the milk proteins and other issues that are actually triggering it. And they don't have the lactoglobulin that'll cause the immune response that then causes type 1 diabetes the way cow milk does. So that's just one other way that we're actually can protect our children from getting sick as they get older. So if diabetes runs in your family, cow milk should be off. And there's so much more. I mean, I've worked with kids with autism, ADHD, and they improve dramatically. Especially autism dramatically improves when you remove dairy from the child's diet. Another big milk myth is that milk is good for your bones. People tell me, if I give up milk, what about calcium? Well, guess what? The calcium in milk actually doesn't really get absorbed because milk is so acidic that when you drink it, your body tries to neutralize the acid by releasing calcium phosphate from your bones. Let me say that again. You release calcium phosphate from your bones, which means your bones are actually experiencing bone loss when you drink milk. So instead of getting calcium from broccoli, you're trying to get it from milk. Well, now you're actually causing bone loss. And that's why in cultures where we drink the most milk, we have the highest rates of osteoporosis. The US, we are only beaten out by New Zealand for how much milk we drink, and we're only beaten out by New Zealand by how much osteoporosis we get. And so when you look at, you know, all these people who get osteoporosis are told to drink more milk, eat more yogurt, do more dairy. Have you ever seen anybody get better? Think about it. Have you ever seen somebody who had bone loss, who ate tons of dairy, ever get the bone back? I actually have helped someone, my own grandmother went from osteopenia to bones of a young adult just by following some advice I gave her. So you can improve your bone health, but only if you don't keep attacking it. It's like someone who keeps smoking and they're like, oh, my lungs won't heal, right? So when you're trying to heal disease, we gotta get rid of the dairy products, not add more of it. And that's really heartbreaking for me too, because people are drinking it during pregnancy because they think it's helping their child's bones grow. And meanwhile, they're weakening their own bones and they're having a negative effect on their baby as well. There's so much more. I mean, I could literally, as I said, I could talk about dairy forever, but I just wanted to give you a glimpse of the amount of information I will give you about every area that I want to teach you about so that you can look at it and go, okay, if I have all these different conditions, then maybe one of these is being caused by the dairy products, or maybe it's being caused by this or that. And so we go through all the different conditions, and there's more actually with dairy. I mean, I don't want to take the whole night up doing dairy, but there's actually more. And so what we end up doing is we go through all the different illnesses that could be triggered by that food. And then what we do is we actually take time to stop and have you guys go over your diet. So people bring their own diets with them to our event. And we have you actually start reviewing your diet to find, where am I eating any foods that are causing inflammation? And then we mastermind together. You mastermind with partners and other people, and then we help you as well to make sure that you can find all of these foods where they might be hidden in your diet, because sometimes ingredients are hidden. It's not like here's a glass of milk, but there's milk hidden in different foods and stuff like that. So for each food that we teach you about that could cause illness, we teach you a lot of detail and every disease it could possibly cause. And then we help you look at your own diet to figure out, where am I doing this? And where can I remove this so I can actually get healthier? And so that is just a little tidbit. And I taught it faster than I normally do because I wanted to give you a whole lot of information that you could start with right away, and also get a taste of the level of how much information I'm going to give you, because I want you to understand this better than your doctor. Then you can teach him or her a few things. So that's just one thing that we're going to be going over. And so, like I said, I have, I have so much more, but that is just one thing. And so I hope that that helps you start to understand what it's really going to be like when you spend a full day. So half the day is going to be on the foods that you had no idea were getting you sick, or if you've heard they could get you sick, why? What is the science? What does it look like if I have that problem? What does a person look like who eats that food? And then where is it in my diet, and how can I remove it and get myself healthier? So I hope that that tidbit helped you understand the level we're going to take this to. So as I said, in between those things, we're going to spend a lot of time with you after each step and after each food, really understanding where that's showing up in your diet. And then the second half of the day is going to be about adding healing foods. So how do you add foods that actually allow your body to heal? Because if you don't know this, if you don't know what foods allow your body to heal, then it is really hard to create dramatic change in your health. And it's going to be really hard to have complete healing. You know, there's a lot of people who switch their diet, and let's say they switch to a plant-based diet or something, and they're like, okay, I read that this could heal me. But they don't know which foods they really should be eating. So they eliminate the bad stuff. They're like, okay, I read this stuff's bad for me. But then they don't know what to eat. I don't know if any of you are wondering that, like, how do you know what to eat? And so there are certain foods that are neutral, and we teach you what those are, that they won't make you sick, but they don't cause healing. And then there are foods that actually give your body the tools that it needs to heal. Because here's the thing, your cells are designed to heal. Your body has been programmed to heal. Right? That's why if you get a cut, a paper cut, I get them all the time. I'm clumsy, as I said. You get a paper cut, you don't need to pull out a sewing kit to sew it closed, right? No. Why? Because your body knows what to do. All the little cells come up and they knit it closed so perfectly you can barely see the little line where it happened, right? The same thing is true internally, whether you've got organ disease, you know, like I had kidney failure, or whether you've got clotting issues, or whether you've got arthritis, or whether you've got cancer. Cancer happens in all of us every day. We are constantly making cancer cells. Cells make mistakes, right? You know who's supposed to get rid of cancer cells? Our immune system. But if you've got chronic inflammation because you're eating too much of those bad foods, then there's no immune system left to fight cancer, or to fight inflammation, or to fight disease. And that's what people are going through. They've got their entire immune system has totally been hijacked by chronic inflammation, and they can't heal. So what do? We do the first half. We make sure you know every single food that can be making you sick. And I mean, really know. I hope you just got a glimpse of like the detail I will teach you. And then we teach you what foods actually can reverse that and can give your body what it needs. Because like I said, we don't need to heal you. We just need to give your body the tools that it needs to heal itself. So for example, you know, there are certain foods that have ingredients that your cells need to heal. So if you don't give your body those ingredients, it can't do its job. So even though you're avoiding the bad stuff, you can't fully heal. And that's why there's a lot of people who they'll switch their diet and they'll like, I felt better, but I didn't get all the way well. Or I didn't really feel much result at all. But I get a lot of folks, especially doctors who teach healing too. They will, when they get sick, they come to me because they're not sure. They said, okay, I eliminated all that stuff, but now I don't know why I still have this issue, why my skin's not healthy and glowing, and why I'm still having this bloating or this or that. And they come to me because I understand the cellular biology. I can look at what they're eating and tell them exactly what's causing it. And it might just be one little thing, and I tweak it and boom, they're fine. So that's really, really important, is in understanding both. There's a lot of people teaching the first part, but really understanding what food does inside of you so that your body can heal and what ingredients you need to heal. That is where the mastery comes in, so that you can really not only just feel better because you're not making yourself sick anymore, you're not smoking anymore, or you're not eating cheese anymore, but you know what to do so that your body can fight back. And this is also really great for people who aren't ready to give up the bad stuff yet. Right? Maybe you're like, Dr. G, you just gave me all this great information about dairy, but I'm freaking out because I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to give up something I'm addicted to. Well, if you understand what healing foods you can eat, then at least if you have those as well, your body can manage this better, and it can fight back against whatever you're eating. But it can't complete the healing process to get all the old stuff, because now it's fighting what you're doing to it, but at least you won't progress your disease. And actually, the way Tom and I teach it, we teach it in such a way where you're so good at it, you can actually start to heal even if you're still doing the bad stuff, because you understand what your cells need to heal. So I'll give you one example. I'll try to take less time than just on the cherry, but I get excited and I want you guys to know everything. So one really underestimated nutrient that people tend to be missing in their diet in really dramatic amounts is water. So people, you know, if I ask people how much water are you supposed to drink, they'll say, oh, FDA says 6 to 8 glasses, and they're not even sure how big the glasses are. They say 8 ounces, but most people are so devastatingly dehydrated that no matter what they do, no matter how much they add of other healing foods, they will never heal all the way, because your body needs the water to do it. See, the water is not just something you do because you're thirsty. The reason you need water is multifold. And one of the biggest things that water does is that it is involved in all the chemical reactions that need to take place for healing to happen, and also fat loss, by the way, because cells need water to make these chemical reactions take place. So you could give it everything it needs, all the vitamins and minerals and all the nutrients that the cells need, but if you're dehydrated, you can't heal because the chemical reaction can't take place. It's like putting, if you're trying to bake a cake and you put all the ingredients into the bowls, but you don't have any liquid to mix it together. It's like you just have flour mixed together with stuff, but you need the liquid to bind it, right? Maybe cake's not the best example when we're talking about healing, but it's just to understand that the ingredients alone aren't enough. The way that reaction takes place is because you have the water to let that happen. And so if you think you're eating well, and you're not getting the results, then you're probably dehydrated. And the most common symptom of dehydration is lack of thirst. So if you don't drink water because you're just not that thirsty, you're actually severely dehydrated. For some reason, your body shuts off the drive for thirst when you're dehydrated. So I think it's a way of letting you not suffer. It's like, all right, I guess, you know, we're in a desert and we're gonna die anyway, so I'll just act like I'm not thirsty, okay? So if you're not thirsty, you're dehydrated. So, you know, when I'm talking about water, I'm talking about not just the amount you need to stay alive, it's the amount you need to actually have healing take place. Because that's what I'm about, is how do we hack into the body to give the body everything it needs so we can heal people dramatically. This is why I can take someone who can't walk, who can't even get out of a chair without using both arms to try to stand up, who can't even walk up a flight of stairs, and within 3 weeks, she's changing tires and riding a bicycle uphill and going for walks a couple days a week. Within 3 weeks, she was walking up and down stairs where she hadn't been able to do stairs in 2 years. How do I do that? Because I know how to give the body everything it needs so that healing just dramatically takes place. I'm not healing them, the cells are healing themselves because we're giving them what they need. Finally, they're like, yes, this is what I was looking for. That was the ingredient I wanted, right? So it might be water for you. Now, another thing that water does is it removes the toxins through your kidney and your bladder. So if you have had a really toxic diet before, or you still do now, or even, you know, if you eat a fairly healthy one, we still need to remove toxins. And if you don't have enough water, you're not gonna be able to do that, okay? And it's also gonna be really taxing on your kidney. You're more likely to get things like kidney stones. Somebody, one of my patients just wrote to me, they thought that Koreans could cause kidney stones. Again, that's some mythology, all right? That's highly accepted. It's mythology. It's usually dehydration is one of the key factors. So if you're looking at something like kidney stones, that's a big thing. Now, the other thing you look at is water is responsible for helping you feel like you have energy. If you're exhausted all day long, you are either malnourished or dehydrated. So it doesn't matter how much coffee you drink or how much energy drinks you drink. If you don't get enough water, you are going to be exhausted. You can fire up your nervous system with caffeine, but you're going to crash again because you're not hydrated enough to keep up your energy to sustain it. So if you're exhausted, think about having a giant glass of water. You might be shocked by how much better you feel. And usually at this point in my talk, people start drinking their water. You know, they grab their cups and because you start to realize it and become aware of it. Now, another thing about water is that it's also another symptom. If you have the symptom, you might be dehydrated, would be headaches. Now, if you are dehydrated, your body will start to pull water out of the cells in your brains. Yeah. And so what happens is the brain starts to tug, it starts to shrink. And so it tugs against the side of your head, which causes pain known as a headache. So a lot of times a severe headache comes along, you don't actually need to take a pain pill. You need to drink a half a gallon of water and boom, that headache go away. And I did that with a hairdresser once. She came in and she's like, oh my God, I have a headache. And I told her, why don't you get some water? And she went and got water and came back and she's like, oh my God, I feel better. And I'm like, great, let's get going. You know, I got work to do. So, you know, you can use this in your daily life to get the things you need to get done. So it's really important for those of you who have headaches to think about your hydration. If you have joint pain, water is necessary to pad your joints. If you don't have enough water, you're not going to have enough padding to feel really smooth joint movement, and you're going to have more arthritis. So if you have arthritis, you might consider drinking more water. So I hope you're starting to see all the different things it can do. One of the biggest things that people really love about adding the amount of water they need is what happens with their skin. You tend to have really vibrant, glowing skin when you're nourished and you have enough water. Because here's the thing, your skin is the largest organ in your body, but it's also not considered as vital as the internal organs like your heart and your lungs and your kidneys. So it's the last one to get nutrients, it's the last one to get hydration. So if you've got dry skin, if you've got acne, if you've got if you've got wrinkles, then you are likely dehydrated. And so one of the things, you know, people might come to me because they've got a disease, but one of the things they're happiest about is when their face just people start saying they look younger. And that's what tends to happen, is that you tend to look younger because your skin is nourished. If your skin is nourished and healthy, that means your insides had so much leftover nutrition they got to feed your skin. So if you have unhealthy skin, you've got an issue with your hydration and with your nourishment. And there's so many different things that could happen. It also, if you're dehydrated, it not only increases the aging of your skin, it increases the ages of your internal organs. So if you have anything ranging, it's the most common cause of constipation. I can cure constipation in 2 to 3 days, right? Most people are so constipated because they're so dehydrated. Water is supposed to be a water slide that comes out of you, okay? So, you know, you're supposed to have water that helps the feces move down and out, okay? If there's no water, that's like if you went on a water slide and there was no water, and so you went to go down the slide and you just, right? You're trying to go down the slide, but you can't go down the slide because there's no water, right? So it's the same thing with your colon. If you're dehydrated, your poop gets stuck. You need the water slide. So I hope my physical example, and yes, if you come to our event, I do a lot of stand-up comedy during it where you actually can see that up close. But if you drink more water, the water slide will just carry that poop right out and you'll feel better, and everyone around you will be happy because you'll be in a much better mood when you're not constipated. So that's just another thing. Tom's probably gonna have to stop.
No, Nicole Reed had a question. She said, what do we replace dairy with? Almond milk, etc.?
Here's the thing. You don't have to replace it. Right? So just like when someone stops smoking, they don't have to replace puffing with something else. Although some people do that, right? You don't need to replace it. If you want to, then you can use milk alternatives. So almond milk is fine. You can use organic soy milk or something like that if you want to. So let's say you're like, I need to continue on with my life and I just want to substitute it. That won't hurt you. That's a neutral food. You can use almond milk. That's our favorite, coconut milk, and that's neutral, and it won't cause any of the illnesses that cow milk does. So good question. So I thought he was trying to cut me off because I'm very enthusiastic about teaching because I want you to know everything I know so that you can be super healthy. And for me, healthy is not about just looking great and having energy and all that stuff. To me, when you're healthy, you can live your purpose and give your gifts, right? So I wouldn't be here right now. I probably would be dead or disabled by now if I wasn't healthy. So I want that for you too. And that's why I get so enthusiastic about teaching this stuff. But to go back to water, you know, there's so much more, but I hope you can see now that just that one thing could dramatically change your health. And I teach so much of it. We have a half day where I will teach you all the tricks, all the foods, all the things you can put into your body that will make your body so good at healing, you could heal anything. I mean, in my home, if somebody gets, you know, viruses will come, right? We rarely ever get them, but we have 2 kids in school, and every once in a while a virus or something will go through the house. When I was sick, when I had lupus, if I got a cold, I'd be in bed for 2 weeks, so sick. Now, if one of us gets sick, it's within 24 hours, it's gone. I mean, it's just like, oh, I feel a little stuffy, next day wake up fine. Because our immune systems know exactly what to do, and we give it everything they need to fight. And that's how it should be. You shouldn't be knocked down by a cold or a flu for weeks. You should be able to recover. Your body, your immune system should know what to do. But you have to know how to feed it. And this is very different than what you're going to learn just by, you know, going to a traditional doctor or looking at the government's recommendations for things. This is the optimum way to feed yourself to have bulletproof health. So with the water thing, you know, if you have anything from constipation, fatigue, headaches, you know, difficulty losing weight, joint pains, aging, pimples, just any kind of issues with difficulties healing at all, you want to look at, am I getting enough water? So that's just, so those were just 2 examples of things that we'll be teaching over the course of a whole day. So if you can imagine spending an entire day with me, I will make you such an expert that you could just walk around and heal people. And that's really what I want. I want to create a whole minion of people that just walk around healing people because you know so much. So you get the health you deserve, and then you share that. And you coach people. We have a lot of health coaches, a lot of doctors come to train with us so that you can share that gift with everybody else. So that's just a couple things. Goodness, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I'm going to say, so if you have any questions that you want to ask the doctor before we go into body transformation, when you, underneath the video box, there's the Facebook comment section, and you can ask your questions there. Because what I'm doing is when Brooke is talking, I'm checking the comments so that I can relay them to her. So you just enter your comments. Whoops! Oh, I didn't mean to go to Facebook. Okay, you just enter your comments right there, and I'll check them. And then I'll relay them over to Brooke.
Okay, well, I guess, you know, before, oh, I didn't mean to do that. So one thing I'd show you, probably doesn't show up that well, but when I talk about people being able to have dramatic results in a very short amount of time, when we did an event and we had someone come who, she had lupus and she was very obese and had all sorts of issues, gallbladder disease, and she was so ill, she needed her husband to drive her there, but she did come. And she wrote to me, and this is a text. Everybody who works with me gets my cell phone number because I want you to get better and you need to be able to reach me and ask me questions, right? So she wrote, after 1 week, hypernourishment, no pain meds, no inflamed joints, no muscle soreness, no gallbladder pain, better sleep, more energy. I could go on forever. I'm so glad. Thank you, Dr. G. No anxiety medication, no NSAIDs, and lost 14 pounds, 1 week. So you're someone who was so inflamed and sick, she couldn't even walk on her own without help. Well, she could walk, but she was just she couldn't drive her own car, and she could barely sit through the event. She was so tired. Here she is 1 week later, 14 pounds down now with no pain at all. And even her mood was better, not needing any kind of anxiety medicine. What's that?
Anvago.
Oh, okay, Anvago. How much water do I recommend? So if you are trying to heal, you want to have at least 96 ounces a day. Now, I don't do mythology, so I can't tell you why. All I can tell you is that with all the people we put through our programs, when people drink less than 96 ounces a day, they just don't tend to get the results, or they get some results and they plateau. So I'm not going to make up a reason why. I just know it works. So what I usually recommend is 1 ounce per pound of your body weight up to a gallon. Because I don't want, you know, unless you're working with me personally, I don't like people to go over a gallon of water, though some people do. But 1 ounce per pound of body weight up to a gallon. So if you weigh 96 pounds, then 96 ounces will be your amount. If you weigh 200 pounds, you're going to be a gallon, 126 ounces, right? Or so. So that's what I usually recommend. Tom might give you a little different, but usually with my programs, that's the minimum place to start. And for most people, that's more than they've ever drank in their life. But yeah, so just show you our one person. But another important thing is, you know, people that have diabetes type 2 also. This is someone that has blood sugar. And she's eating, she said, I'm eating fruits like a monkey and my blood sugar was 70. That's crazy. So I give people back their fruit. You don't have to be afraid of fruit, and I teach you why. So it's really important. So that was 1 week after our event. And then I heard from her a little later, and she wrote, hey, guess what? I've gotten negative ANA tests and others were in normal range since going to your seminar and changing my health. I'm getting closer and closer. I know I'll be cured. So, and you know, if you write to me, I kind of text the way I talk, lots of emoticons and so, but that just shows you you're someone who just spent a couple days with us and who was able to reverse not only her symptoms of lupus and high blood sugar, but her blood tests as well. So that's what we want for you. And that's really why we do this. I don't want to take up the whole night. I feel like I'm already taking up so much. So maybe you want me to switch over to you? I was going to teach so much more, but I'll have you here till midnight.
Go into, I'm going to say, I mean, I would go into what are the other sections that you do teach.
Okay.
You know, other, like in general, what are the sections? Because I'll tell you how I'm going to do mine. I'm going to do.
Okay. Well, yeah, I got you. So just walk through like all the other sections.
Well, yeah, because I'm going to, I mean, mine, here's what mine goes. So when we switch over to my section, it's the first thing we do is we talk about why you want to create the body that you want, and then getting very clear about what it is that you're trying to create. That's not so important when you're talking about health. It's way important when you're talking about body transformation. You got to know what you want to look like, what you want to feel like. You want to know numbers and inches and all that stuff so that you can manifest those things. And then we move into fat loss, and then we move into muscle building, and then we move into maintenance, and then how to do both for the rest of your life. So that's kind of what I mean by that.
Well, okay. So basically from there, so we teach you everything you need to know about the foods not to eat if you're trying to get healthy, and the foods to add to your diet. And then what we do is we go into your diets. So, and make sure that you know how to fix your own diet and have ideas on what to actually prepare. So it's not just going to be about here's what I shouldn't eat and here's what I should eat and all academic. We're going to actually fix your diet, and we're going to actually walk you through how to make healing foods. And we're going to do some of it right there. One of the reasons we have this suite that we're teaching in instead of a big conference room is we want to make food with you. And we want to actually nourish you all day long too, so you know what it feels like to eat nourishing food while you're learning. So you're going to be experiencing it not only up here intellectually, you're going to be experiencing it in your taste buds, you're going to be experiencing it in your body. So we're going to have all those experiences combined. And we're even going to take you on a shopping trip to show you how to shop for healing and for fat loss. So it's going to be super, super involved. We're not just going to sit there and talk at you all day. We're going to make sure you master it on every level, that you know what it feels like. Then you know what to do for yourself when you get home. And we're going to make sure you have a plan for that. Another thing we're going to do is we're going to go through different case studies of people I've actually healed. And I'm gonna let you figure out how to create the healing plans for them, just to make sure you got it. So you're gonna all work together to show that you know how to heal people. Because you know what, if you can fix somebody else's diet, you've got it. Because I wanna make sure you got it. That's our thing, is we wanna make sure you got it. So we're gonna do all these awesome case studies, and people love doing the case studies, it's so fun. And then after that, the extra section we're gonna do at the end is I'm gonna teach you about supplements. So one of the biggest things that happens when people want to get healthy is they go to maybe an integrative medicine doctor or a naturopath, and then they're put on like 10, 12 supplements, and then they still don't get better. Or even if they get some improvement, now they've got this huge bill of all these things they're paying for. So I'm going to teach you what supplements I do recommend, which are very, very few, and how to understand which ones are actually helping you, and how to make the ones that you are using actually work better for you. I don't know if we have time for me to go into that more, or if you want to just.
Well, let's see. We have a few questions that came through, so let's go ahead and answer. I mean, so because they were relevant to some of the things you said. So Petra and Carrie both ask, I would love to attend the seminar, but I have another seminar August 5th to the 7th. Is there any way to buy a recording of the event? And Carrie Reed asks, how do I get all this good information from Australia? Right now, we probably won't have a purchasable recording. I'll tell you why. It's because this thing that we're going to be doing in Vegas, it is so highly experiential, because we're going to be doing excursions. It's going to be so hands-on. I mean, there's going to be a whole lecture and teaching section that I just experienced this at our Amazing Health Mastery, and I didn't like having to mess with the camera and try to be present 100% with our students at the same time. It was annoying me that I had to detach myself from the processes that we were doing with our students, just so I could move the camera and get the audio right and all that stuff. So I kind of felt that was a ripoff to our students. So Petra, unfortunately, and Carrie, unfortunately, I don't see us doing any sort of recording and having that available. So if we figure out a way, I'll tell you how we did it in the past. Is we brought in an entire film crew to be able to do it. But you know, we're selling the tickets for $495. I mean, it's just, and it's only 20 people. It's just, there's just not enough money in the budget to bring in a full film crew for 2 full days to house them, feed them, and then do their film work and all that stuff. So unfortunately,
we're trying to make it as affordable as we can. And still, you know, not lose. So we're just trying to make it so everybody can go. So anything that adds expense, like the film crew, we'd have to share that cost, and then it would be more expensive to go.
Okay, Ann Vega, no, sorry, Susan writes, can metabolism be permanently stalled by taking prednisone several times over the period of a year?
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
I mean, I took prednisone for years at high doses, and my metabolism is fantastic. So we can fix it.
Elvia Shepherd writes,
hi, Elvia.
Do we add all the liquids like the green smoothies we drink and the water to the total?
You can add the amount of water you put into your smoothie. So not the total volume of your smoothie, but how much water you actually put into the smoothie. You can count that towards your total for the day.
Okay, Lindsay writes, a dear friend is severely struggling with Lyme disease. What potential does this have for this condition? Would this be able to help and or heal him?
Yeah, you know, I've actually worked with people with Lyme disease before, and what we're teaching is, even if something is being caused by a virus or a bacteria or anything else, or even a genetic condition, we can still optimize their ability to fight it. So even if it's Lyme disease that, you know, is caused by a spirochete, you know, what matters is that your immune system needs to be able to fight. And so if you don't know this information, you're going to be sicker, whether it's Lyme disease or anything else. So even if it is you know, we've seen people that have purely genetic conditions, very rare, by the way, like I said, 5 to 10% of disease, but even those people benefit because they can be the healthiest they can possibly be. So absolutely can help with Lyme disease. In fact, it's essential because that disease is so hard to live with. It's like lupus. I mean, the symptoms are really a lot like lupus, so people suffer a lot from it. Absolutely, we can help.
Okay, Petra asks, are you doing this again this year? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, this was a big deal. I mean, this was really, we don't have any plans right now to do this again.
Like both Brooke and I are just completely booked with speaking engagements all the way through October. So I just don't know when we'd be able to pull it off. It takes an incredible amount of effort to put these together.
Yeah.
There's so many different pieces involved. And it's just, unfortunately, you know, it'd be different if we were filling a room with about 100 to 200 people, but we just couldn't pull that off because we haven't figured out how to create the intimacy that we need in a room that large.
Yeah, and you know, one of the reasons we picked Las Vegas is because it is a lot cheaper to fly there and to get hotel rooms there for most people. So we wanted to pick a place that was kind of, you know, a place where anyone in the US or even other countries could come and still get really affordable hotel rooms and be able to all meet there. So we're doing the best we can to make it as accessible as we can. But yeah, it takes a whole lot for us to put this on, and we have a lot of other events. We put our heart and soul into this. I mean, we spend the whole 2 days just taking care of you in every way, nourishing you, educating you, so that you're completely transformed. And I mean, we have people who are still high from our last event who just said like the amount of energy and love they received was part of their healing. Yeah. So yeah, we don't have anything like that planned.
Yeah, a lot of you are in our Smoothie Shred Challenge, and you're in that group. I mean, you've got a taste of that because that's the same type of love that we put out and the attention that we give to every single person online. And when you're with us, that's why we limit it to just 20 people, and we bring you into our suite, not into some sterile, dry room. It's like we want to bring you into our house, into our family, so that we can take care of you. If that makes any sense. Just the energy of that is what we're trying to bring to the table.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people said that they feel so loved and taken care of just by being in our Facebook group. Just imagine what it's like to be there with us for 2 days straight and letting us fully take care of you. It's what we love to do.
So for those of you who if you want to get in, that what you do is this is what it looks like on my mobile device. Yours on a computer is very similar. So this is where you're currently watching the video. If you scroll underneath that, underneath the Facebook comments, you'll get to the whole section where it talks about what the event is. You'll see some videos of people that have attended either the Amazing Health Mastery or the Metabolic Mastery in the past, and then this is where you register right there. Okay, so if you want to get yourself registered, you just click that button and it takes you to an event bright so that you can get yourself your ticket.
You know, so like I said, there was so much more I actually wanted to teach you, but I don't want to keep you past midnight. So maybe
really quickly, I mean, I would say fly through your slides so everybody can really, I mean, because I want to make sure everybody understands what it is, like every little section you're teaching.
Okay. So as I said, I'll be teaching the healing foods. We're going to go through, for people who are interested, how I created the healing protocol for lupus and how you can use it to heal other diseases as well. But I go into it in detail. And so that's a really important thing, how the program works and different result, how people interact and the different results people get. There's so much. Let me see. Let me pull you through. Let's see. And so different people who go through it and what kind of results to expect. And just amazing. I mean, oh my gosh, I introduce you to a lot of my different clients and what their lives have been like. So I can show you one person real quick, you know, kid named, I call him a kid, he's 25, a young man named David who came to me with Sjogren's, lupus, and scleroderma, 3 autoimmune disease, was in the ICU for 4 months.
Yeah, real quick.
Right, and so, well, you know, I mean, super sick, right? Doctors told his mom he wasn't going to make it, and we were able to you can just see massive amounts of inflammation and illness and reverse it so that he is completely off of all medications based on what we taught him. For the first time since he was diagnosed at 15. He's off all medications. And that was only 2 months after putting everything we taught into place after coming to one of our events, okay? So when we talk about how much information we teach and how powerful it is, that's what it's like. Does
this program work if you have asthma, Elisa Bell asks?
Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. I can usually get people who have asthma to be breathing well and off their medicine within a couple weeks. Asthma responds beautifully.
Lynette asks, will you be doing this type of event in Austin anytime soon? Only Amazing Health Mastery. It's the only event that we do in Austin right now. And
we just did it, so we don't really have.
We just did it.
We don't have any plans to do that right now.
Yeah, the only thing we've got going on in Austin is we do have an experiential retreat. In fact, we just bought a property today that we'll probably end up doing the retreat in.
It's gonna be awesome.
But again, we don't have a date set for that yet. But that's it.
Is there something did you want to show it or okay?
No, I had this menu screen on.
I don't know if I should show.
Go through the sections though. It doesn't have to be necessarily all your slides.
Let me see. Sections. That's.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, and then the next section would be going through the supplements. So that's what I have here. So after go through all the different people and helping you figure out how to, so not just here's the foods you don't eat and here's the foods you start to eat, but how do you take a diet that's got issues and turn it into a healing diet? So not only for yourself, but for other people so that you can become part of the coaches that help change the world. And then we move into the supplements, which ones are actually useful and how to use them in a way that they actually work. There's a lot of people who buy supplements, but they don't know how to use them right. And so then they don't work. So it's also about how do you use them in the right way that you can actually get really amazing results for yourself.
Right on. All right, cool. So are you complete?
I could keep going, but I don't want to take cool. There's people who came here to see him, right?
Well, yeah, I'm going to set up my slides.
All right, so I could do this all day. In fact, I do it all day at our event, and I love to do it. It's just there's nothing that I love more than helping people live their lives. And you know, I want everyone to have what I have, to get to grow old with someone who loves them and to watch their kids grow. And I get myself crying again. So I hope I get to see you guys there. And if I don't, I hope that just the stuff I taught you right now actually helps you have better health. You want me to switch sides with you so you can move over? And
okay, sure.
That way you get the...
Yeah. That way we don't get our wires tangled. And then here, babe, you take...
He takes up a lot of space.
You hang on to this and then just... So what I'm doing is I'm looking at your Facebook comments and the questions that you have using my phone here. And we're able to answer questions that way. Oh, here's Irene Thomas. She's got a question for you.
Hi,
so all you got to do is just keep refreshing this and then looking for that sorted by name. Let's get these up a little higher.
You could pass my water over. All that talking makes me dry out.
Can you believe this is 40 ounces? This thing right here holds 40 full ounces. Okay, check it out. Let's get into body transformation and really fast. So let me just tell you a little bit about why I'm such a body transformation expert. So as you know, I mentioned before, my background is in computer science and mathematics. And then I went and got a fitness certification and started learning everything about human biology in terms of how it relates to losing body fat and building muscle. And I started creating algorithms and things around it and just developing just like repeatable, reproducible programs that would just get people results like every single time. And I did it with nutrition. I did it with the fitness programs. And that's what I used to help Brooke get the body that she wanted for her wedding. And it also accidentally happened to heal her lupus. So that's where the whole story comes from. But I mean, I've worked with folks that have been on MTV. I've worked with quite a few celebs. I've trained quite a few trainers of celebrities. So they come to me when they're needing help with how to help their celebrity clients get in the best shape they possibly can. So anyway, what I've done is I went vegan, figured out how to do the same thing on a vegan diet, and then on top of that, learn how to help people transform their bodies while getting them more healthy than possible. So the first step is let's get you super, super healthy, and then after that, let's get you looking and feeling the way you've always wanted to. So here's where we start. When we do my section, the first place we start is with metabolism, and we spend the whole morning learning and mastering metabolism. This is really what it boils down to. If you understand how to control your metabolism, you can have basically any body that you want and you can keep it for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what your genetics are. What we do in the first morning is you will master how to raise your metabolism. So we go through, here's where we start. Raising metabolism, and we talk about what metabolism is. We go through the whole metabolic formula, and whether or not you have a slow or fast metabolism. So a lot of people, and so these are some of the questions. We go through a whole questionnaire that I created that helps you determine if you're a person that has a slow metabolism or fast metabolism, because once you figure that out, that can explain a lot of things. You know, one of the things that we talk about is like, here's the first symptom. When I do a lot of exercise, I get mediocre or no visible results. If that's ever happened to you, there's a good chance you have a slow metabolism, because no matter how much exercise you do, no matter how strict you diet, you have a hard time getting results. It has to do with your metabolism. So it doesn't matter how much fat loss exercise we put you on or how strict of a diet we put you on, you are going to have a hard time getting results until we solve your metabolism problem. So that first morning, not only we start by identifying what your metabolism issues are, and then we correct them. We fix the metabolism, and then suddenly we fix the issues behind keeping you from getting really good results. Here's some examples of some of the students that have gone through it, and then we just go through, and it's just more of the survey. So that's the first morning. We go through all the different metabolic principles, how to understand metabolism.
It's really powerful stuff, because most people have no idea what metabolism really is. They just think if you're skinny, you have a fast metabolism, and it's so not true.
Then we go through what foods that are typically in a diet, what aspects of your diet. So you got to bring your diet in with us. I mean, one of the homework requirements is that you spend an entire week logging everything that you eat, so that way you can look at it. And I just go through line by line. I tell you exactly what are you not eating enough of, or what are you eating too much of that is just driving your metabolism down. And we go through all the different foods that will cause a reduction in metabolism. And then we go through, there's a whole template that just spells out a slow metabolism diet. And what we find is that most people don't even realize it, that they think they're eating in a way that supports fat loss, or they think they're eating clean. And it turns out that very same clean eating that they think that they're doing is actually just slowing their metabolism down to a crawl. So we identify that, and then we fix it. And what I do is then I teach you how to drastically raise your metabolism. We go through a whole template of eating. We show you some of the fast metabolism burning, fat loss foods, and so on and so forth, all these metabolism raising foods. And we go through some example meals. So one of the things we're going to do, so here's an example of a meal that I love to show people because it's easy to make, and it's perfect for those of you who are just too lazy to make a big meal. It's kale and mushrooms, some Bragg's aminos, some nutritional yeast, some fresh avocado, cut tomato. I can make this entire meal in about 5 minutes. It's awesome, and it'll raise your metabolism. What we do at the Amazing Health, Fitness and Health Mastery is we will actually go to Whole Foods. And first, before we go to Whole Foods, I'm going to teach you all of this stuff. And then we will do hands-on application at Whole Foods. The reason we choose Whole Foods is because they have one of the most massive buffets of any place that you can go to have a buffet. But they have all the ingredients that we use to raise metabolism. So we're going to build all together. We're going to actually build, create, and make delicious fast metabolism meals together. Okay, then let's see more. And then we get into the smoothies. Those of you who are in our smoothie shred group, you've seen all of these different smoothie templates and so on. And we go over, there's going to be a whole, here we go. There's going to be an entire smoothie building workshop in our suite. So we're going to be bringing some Vitamix blenders, and those of you who pay, if you pay for your $495 ticket right now, it comes with what we would usually sell, an optional $95 unlimited smoothie bar. I mean, we're gonna everybody goes to our thing who pays the $495 ticket. You're gonna get unlimited smoothies for the entire 2 days, and that includes all the materials to build your smoothies over here. Okay, so that's usually $95, but those of you who pay full price right now for the whole thing, boom, you get the whole thing, and it's included as a bonus for you guys. And so we're gonna build those smoothies in the suite. You're gonna taste them, and then what's gonna happen is, one of the things about smoothies is we're gonna give you the template. You gotta make it delicious. Yeah. But what's delicious to one person might not be delicious to another person. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna divide up into groups, make different smoothies, and we're gonna have each other experiment with different flavors, and then we're all gonna taste each other's smoothies and then share the recipes. So all the smoothies are guaranteed to fit in the fast metabolism raising template. The question is, are they going to be tasty for you or not? So you'll be able to test out probably about 8 to 16 different smoothie flavors right there. We do lots of case studies. One of the ways that we help people achieve their mastery is we do case studies with real students. So what that means is, we'll start a case study like this. So this is an actual client of mine that I've had in the past. And we go through and we analyze what the diet is. So we say, okay, here's what the diet looks like. And then we go through, okay, identify all the foods that are causing her metabolism to be slow, if it's slow. And then we go through and we say, okay, what would you do? Knowing everything that we just taught you in the last section, how would you change this so that she could get way better results than what she was reporting before? And so everybody has their chance of coming up with the program, because guess what? This is exactly what you're gonna have to do for yourself. You're gonna have to be able, I mean, the problem with a lot of you right now is that you have no idea how to truly troubleshoot your own diet and your fitness plan to be able to get you the results that you want. And so that's what we're gonna be doing with just client after client after client, and you're gonna get so good at it. And then what you do is when we put it all together, you're gonna be able to see what the outcome is of the decisions, and then putting into practice everything that we teach. And you'll be able to see it with real results that we've gotten from the clients that we've worked with. And you'll be able to see what a difference it makes. And then what happens is you won't be able to wait to apply it to yourself, because you've done so many case studies that you've been able to literally, I mean, this is what it feels like. You've been able to literally change the lives of all of these people virtually while we're doing these case studies. And so, and the thing is, if you do, and we're gonna guide you through it, right? If you make the person that we're doing the case study about do exactly what you tell them to, which we're gonna give you the right answers, the same results are gonna occur. So that's the whole section on metabolism.
I hate to do this, but
yeah.
I refreshed that screen and I lost it. Sent me to somewhere else. So now I'm on Facebook trying to find your question and answer. I don't want to miss your questions, and for some reason,
oh no, okay, it
just left.
You don't go to Facebook first of all. You got to go to Amazing Fitness and Health. That's where everybody's watching.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, that's actually
Here we go. I'll fix it.
We got missed. Sorry guys, I was trying to keep up with your questions and then I got lost.
Okay, I'll find it. Don't worry. Let's see.
I thought I was on the wrong website when we were on Amazing Fitness and Health. Oh, there it is.
Okay, right there.
Sorry, guys.
There you go. There you go. Okay, we're all good. Yeah, and feel free to ask me questions as you're going through this. Again, it's in the it's underneath the video, and it's in the little Facebook comment box.
So since we already got started, Stu wants to know if this comes with a certification or is it friendly advice. First of all, this isn't friendly advice. This is science. But we're working on getting an official certification, and anyone who goes through our course, once we have the certification up, all you'll need to do is take a little after
test out,
and then you'll be certified.
That's right. So we will come up with a certification, because Brooke just got done training close to 600 doctors on how to be able to heal their patients with supermarket food the same way that we're teaching it. So when that happens, you're looking at a certification where you'll be able to have a standardized way to know that if somebody has that certification, they possess the experience, the knowledge, and the results to be able to produce healing on a broad scale to all of their patients. That's going to be like a $3,000 to $5,000 deal when that launches. For those of you who do this, we're not going to make it a requirement for you to become certified. When we do have the certification, we're not going to make it a requirement that you go through the $3,000 to $5,000 program if you're able to test out, because what it boils down to is you've just got to be able to test out and just prove that you can heal people with the information that we've got.
If you take our course, you will.
That's right. So so any graduate of Amazing Fitness and Health, and that means that if you've done it's actually the Amazing Health Mastery, and then if we add the fitness component to it, that'd be the Metabolism Mastery. Any graduates of those, if you've done the two, we'll give you the ability to test out of that, and then that would instantly, we would put you in our registry of certified professionals for that. So hopefully that answers your questions too.
Yeah.
Thanks for asking that. I appreciate it. All right, see what else. Okay, rapid fat loss. I know this is such a big deal. Rapid fat loss is like number one. I did a poll. It's just been in my experience that people just want to get ripped. They want the six pack. They want to lose the belly. They want to lose all the flub and the flab and all that stuff. They want definition. They want lines. They want curves. All of that is a result of fat loss. Fat loss, fat loss, fat loss, fat loss. Fat loss is one of those things that by far, when you lose 10 pounds of fat, it looks amazing on the body, because it's just you're shrinking, you're getting rid of all this voluminous tissue. Whereas if you build 10 pounds of muscle, that's harder to see than losing 10 pounds of body fat. So let's talk about body fat, because this is huge. So we go through, and for that, so this is I think getting into, we're getting into just before lunch or after lunch, we're getting into rapid fat loss. We go through, and I'm going to teach you how to become biologically incapable of storing body fat. And that is with how to eat in a certain way that manipulates your hormones so that you simply don't have the hormones present to store body fat, even if you were to screw up and eat something really, really fattening or really, really bad. See, a lot of this is preventative. To lose fat, you gotta be able to. It's not just eating foods that's going to get you fat. You've got to set your biology up so that it's hard to get fat. Because here's the truth. Every single one of you are burning fat every single minute that you're alive. By the fact that you're inspiring oxygen and you're expiring carbon dioxide, fat oxidation is occurring. You're losing fat every single day. The only reason that you haven't seen much change is because you're putting it back on. So one of the biggest things that we got to do from a dietary standpoint is we got to eliminate the putting on of body fat. So we're going to do that in a couple of ways. We're going to avoid foods that put on fat. Number two, we're going to eat in a way using certain strategies so that we make your biochemistry set up so it's very, very difficult to put on fat. Then what we're going to do is then focus on taking fat off, and we're going to use the best tools to be able to do that. So in a nutshell, let's go through this. Here we go. There's the fat loss. Okay, yeah, so here's the fat loss. So we're going to go through, we're going to optimize your cellular function. We're going to do that from a nutritional standpoint. And then we're also going to work on what to avoid to stop getting fatter. We're going to reduce inflammation. So Brooks talked about inflammation from a health standpoint. I'm going to tell you why inflammation is so freaking important from a fat loss standpoint. So here's a nugget for you to take home. If you are eating in a way that is keeping you inflamed, just know you are making it so hard to lose fat. I mean, think about it. This is just, I mean, from a most elementary standpoint, when you bump your arm really hard, what happens? Does it get smaller and shrink, or does it puff up? You tell me, whenever you're in a systemic state of inflammation from the inside, all of your cells, they don't want to get smaller. They want to puff up and get bigger, right? It's just, it's just a response of how your body tries to heal itself. And if you're in a state where you're constantly trying to get it to heal itself from a disease that might or might not exist, that's going to be a problem. It's going to really cut into your ability to lose fat. So we've got to reduce the inflammation.
You know what's interesting is it works both ways, because the more fat you have, the more toxic you are and the more disease you have. So by eliminating fat, you actually can heal faster too. So they go together.
This is why, like, a lot of her patients, when they do her anti-inflammatory plan, they just, as a really cool side effect, they end up losing a lot of body fat.
20, 60 pounds. I mean, and amazing amounts.
And they're not even trying. They're not even trying, right? We do case study and after case study after case study on fat loss. This is a big, big topic, and it's something that you absolutely have to master. Then we go through fat loss exercise. So this is not something that is just a bunch of exercises that you learn that are supposedly fat loss exercise. We're going to teach you the characteristics so we're going to give you exercises, but we're going to teach you the characteristics so that you can identify what an effective fat loss workout is and what's not. So that way you can just make up exercises that will burn fat 10 times more effective than half of the stuff that you see on TV or download on the internet. We again go through the different studies, so we show you the science behind it. Well, I mean, it's in I don't go too heavy in the science, but where it's relevant, we show this so that you just have a memory in your head. That way, you always remember why you want to continue to do certain things. We go into high intensity interval training as one of the methods of fat loss. We go through the studies that talk about resistance training and how its impact is on fat loss. And then we go through actually doing the exercise themselves. So we're going to have access to just an unbelievable workout room. And so I'll be taking you through rotations in there so that you can understand how to actually put together your workouts. You can feel it firsthand. And again, it's not like one of those things where I'm just going to sit there and kick your butt. I only need you to experience like just a little 5-minute burst of something for you to be able to remember it for the rest of your life.
You will always know what it feels like to do a fat burning exercise once he teaches you what it's supposed to feel like. Which most of us have no idea.
And we're also, so it's not just in the weight room, but we're also going to show you how to do that in our suite. So that way you never, ever, ever have to have the excuse for yourself that you couldn't get your workout in. So we're going to show you how to do it in the weight room. We're going to also show you how to do it in the suite. So that way it doesn't matter if you have time to go to the gym or not, you'll always be able to get your fat loss exercise. So we'll show you what the best exercises are, what the best moves are. But really, let me go and give you this nugget right now. So the top ones for fat loss in general. So that way you don't have to do a whole lot of, well, it's easy to do the research to find out what these things are. Number 1, functional resistance training. Number 2, circuit training. Number 3, calisthenics. Number 4, boot camp style workouts. And number 5, kettlebells. And then we have for those of you who've done our 10-day Tummy Tightener program, you know it combines all 5 of those things into one, which just dominates all fat loss exercise programs that are out there, right? But those are the ones. So feel free, I mean, take a screenshot of this if you need to, so that way you can do research
Golden nugget here.
on the internet about this thing. Really, when I say research on the internet, just type in literally functional resistance training, and you'll find just pages of YouTube videos that show you exactly how to do that. You can just follow along and do the workouts on YouTube. Same with circuit training, calisthenics, so on. Just tons of easy to find stuff that way. You know, because there's a lot of different workouts out there, but really, until you've got a really solid background, it's impossible for you to know, is it going to help you achieve the goal of fat loss or not? More case studies. We use real people. So we do a case study on my father. We do it on several clients. And again, you can see straight up what happens when you apply what we teach you. That's fat loss. Then we get into muscle building. So this is for you, this is for men and for women. Being able to build muscle at will is one of the most powerful skills to be able to have. So that way, ladies, especially when you grow into your old age, and if you apply what we teach you, you won't ever have to worry about osteoporosis or bone stuff like that.
Growing old will be fun.
However, if you want bones of a young adult or a superhuman, you want to be able to learn how to build muscle, because that's going to support your health. And it's always better to have more strength than you need, because you never know when you're going to actually need it. And then for the rest of us, if you just want to look a lot better, you want to be able to sculpt and bring up certain parts of your body, then that's going to be from muscle building. You know, with fat loss, you really have no choice. You have no choice as to where the fat is going to come off of you. Your genetics have already predetermined that. So some of you, if you're in our Smoothie Shred group, you know that some of you, you've lost the fat straight off your belly and nowhere else. Some of you, you've lost the fat straight off your legs and your butt, and then not the belly. Some of you are notice that your head is somehow shrinking and everything else. There's nothing that you can do about the order in which the fat is going to come off you. However, with muscle building, you are in complete control of where the muscles are that you're going to want to build bigger. And you're also in control of how big you want to make them, which is, I love that. I just love having control of just different aspects of our body at will. We go through what the best exercises for building muscle and tone are. We go into protein shakes. Yeah, you're going to have to, it is going to require more protein to build a lot of muscle fast than it does just to maintain your body. Okay, that everybody should know that. It's just, we don't have to have an enormous amount. We'll show you exactly how to do the protein, and we'll go into the whole muscle building nutrition, so you know exactly how to eat. In fact, I mean, when I went through, I've done, those of you who've been following me, you know I've done all these muscle building experiments, and so I go through and summarize the most effective things, the most effective practices that have built the greatest amount of muscle in the shortest amount of time, right? And let me, so what I'm going to do, let me go ahead and give you some tidbits. So I'm going to give you, I said there was four, no, I didn't even mention it. There's 4 different exercises that are by far the best exercises for muscle building. In fact, they're the only 4 that you need for muscle building. Let me go ahead and give you 3 of those exercises. One is squats. It doesn't matter how you do the squats, any variations of squats. We go through all of those at on day 2 of Amazing Fitness and Health. And then the next one are rows, or any variation of rows. So we go through all of those. We'll practice them. You'll get some hands-on work on how to do those type of rows. And then finally, the third one, so there's 4, but I'll give you 3, are presses, any form of presses. And we'll go through all the different variations for both men, for women, and so forth. These are just, and then, I mean, I'm going to show you this. I mean, these are examples of like when, like we show you what the application is and what it can do for you. Right here, this is Cameron Diaz, and Cameron Diaz used to be a neighbor of ours back when we lived in Orange County. But if you want to get, wait a minute, if you want to get these arms like this, those exercises that we just told you about, they are going to take care of that. This is a client of mine. I got him on this cover. This is, I'd say, I mean, you can almost say that this pretty much put me on the map, because I took this guy, Mark. He hired me. We worked together for several months. And he was, you know, he started off as just like a normal average guy. He wasn't out of shape, but, you know, he didn't have like a rippling six-pack or anything like that. And then just after a few months of hard work, he got on 3 different front covers of 3 different magazines in the same month. And this guy, what does he do for a living at the time? He was a mortgage broker. So I mean, he's not a professional model or any of that. I'm just telling you, that's the potential that anybody has to get where. I'm not saying that you have to look like that. I'm just saying, look,
if you want to, you can though.
If you wanted to look half as good as that, guess what? It's going to take you half the amount of time. So that's all it is, just to see what the potential is.
I love muscle building because you can literally craft what you want your body to look like. You want a bigger booty, you want arm, like it's so cool.
We go through all the different muscle building workout guidelines. So this is important. You want to understand what the anatomy of the most effective muscle building workout is to build muscle. Where people screw this up all the time is they just mismatch. They do fat loss exercises combined with a muscle building routine, and they never build any muscle. Or they do muscle building exercises combined with a fat loss routine, and they never build any muscle. Or a muscle building diet, and they never build any muscle. You know, you got to get everything completely aligned and congruent. You got to eat for muscle, and you got to work out for muscle. So we go through every step of that as well.
Let me just clarify. It was some people will do muscle building exercise with a fat loss diet, or they'll do fat loss exercise with a muscle building diet, and then they don't get results. Some reason they got jumbled.
Sorry, no problem. Are there any questions we got here?
It's just one.
Okay, so Margaret Garcia, soy protein isolate like tofu or protein powder, is tofu bad? Soy protein isolate, because I've tested it. I've tested on myself. I've tested on other students as well. The results that we've gotten every single time that we've used protein powder, so that's protein isolate, soy protein powder, the results just sucked. I mean, they were horrible. So this was, even before I was vegan, I did a case study with a whole bunch of students, putting a bunch of them on soy protein and then another bunch of them on whey protein. And the whey protein group just dominated the soy protein group. And the soy protein group, is just the results were horrible. But then tofu, tempeh, and soybeans, just regular soybeans, those just crushed everything. Like that guy on the front cover, half of his protein came from soybeans. Half of his protein came from soybeans every single day. So no problem there. So soy protein isolate, you're absolutely right about that. That you just, I don't recommend that at all. Okay, let's keep going. So we got exercises. We go through my case study. So we can go through exactly how I went from this to that in just 4 weeks. Guys, girls, it can be done. Like, you can build muscle so fast when you know what the heck you are doing. This is just 4 weeks worth of work. 4 weeks, that's it. Show you exactly how to do it. We'll all do it together. Here we go. There's the template for muscle building nutrition, and then we go through another hands-on workshop where we build the ultimate muscle building shake. Let me show you the template for that. So go ahead, snap this picture. Here's another great golden nugget for you. So I think now we're up to at least 2 or 3 nuggets for just this section alone. Check it out. Here's one you can do. You got to come to the seminar so that I can explain to you why we're doing this in this way, and then how to change it to your liking and taste so it works. But almond butter, banana, protein powder, and almond milk, you consume that on top of everything else you're eating, and you work out in a way that is designed for muscle building. Holy cow, you will build muscle so fast. We get into how to choose the right protein powder, which ones I've used, what supplements to use. This is huge. I'm going to give you another nugget right now. So creatine monohydrate, L-glutamine. A lot of people freak out. You don't need these. Just so you know, you don't need these. And they're amazing when you use them. Creatine monohydrate is vegan. L-glutamine is vegan. These are all synthesized, and you can make them out of plants and I think bacteria. I don't know, but the way it's commercially made is without any animal products. So for those of you who are worried about that, the creatine that you get from supplement form it's not from animals. It actually is synthesized because it's actually cheaper to synthesize it than it is to try to extract them out of animals, right? So these 2 supplements are my 2 favorite. We'll go over like how to dose them, how to take them, how to know if you've had too much or too little, stuff like that. Any other questions?
Yeah, Caitlin wants to know, she's getting married in September, wants to be more fit, and is also worried about her health. If she can't come to the Vegas 2-day event, is there another way to get all this information about health and fitness?
Caitlin, let me think. Well, you know, you can, if you want to get really fit, I mean, if you're in our Smoothie Shred group, to answer your question, I mean, you can do our online program, which is and we've got 2 of them. We've got the 10-day tummy tightener, and then we've got the vegan muscle project. You do those 2 together, it'll show you exactly what you got to do, and then you just do
get the results without all the education.
That's correct.
You know, so you can just do the program. For me, one way is to work with me separately. So I see you're worried about your health. So I do one-on-one Skype consultations to teach people how to do this for themselves. So you can meet with me one-on-one over Skype, and I also have, you know, a 4-week online program as well. It doesn't come with the education. It just, here's the program, do it, it works. This is about, here's why everything we do works, so you don't need us. So, but if you absolutely can't come, then you can still have access to us that way.
All right, awesome. Hey, thanks for asking.
And congratulations on your wedding.
Yeah, congrats on your wedding. Being married is amazing. I love it. We're gonna do a lot of case studies, and then after that, we get into building your dream body. And this is where we blueprint. This is where you take what we did on the very first, right in the morning, right? The first thing we did was we got very clear on exactly what it is that you wanna create. How many inches do you wanna be down? What kind of definition do you wanna have in your body? How strong do you wanna be? How fit do you wanna be? And how easy do you wanna make it? And we put all of that together, and then the last section of this is creating your dream body blueprint. So you know exactly what to do on each day of the week, how to work out, what kind of workouts to do, how to structure your nutrition each day of the week so that you can get the end result. And this is by far my most favorite thing to teach, because this is what creates the results you want. I mean, this is what changes people's lives, because they say, for the first time, I finally have the body that I've always wanted that I never thought I could get. So we go through all the different strategies. So we go through, you know, what happens when you lose fat, what happens when you gain muscle, and we go through all. I mean, this is for those of you who are like really analytical and technical, you're going to love this section, because this is all about. I mean, it's like the way I treat this is the same way that a master stock market trader trades the stocks. It's all strategic, it's all deliberate, and it's all by design. It's just so beautiful.
I have to say, this is mind-opening. What he teaches, I've never seen anybody else teach this. It's like, it's not just the information about the food and the exercise, but how to combine it in this way. I mean, it's mind-blowing.
Watch this. You're gonna love this. I'm gonna go through one of the strategies, and I'm gonna show you what I teach. So here's another like massive nugget for you. Okay.
Write this down.
Yeah. Watch this. So one of the strategies that we teach is called the Zigzag strategy. And then what we do is we spend 3 to 4 days out of the week. So check this out, 3 to 4 days out of the week, all we're gonna do is just focus on fat loss only. We're just gonna eat in a way that is gonna remove the greatest amount of fat, eat and work out in a way that removes the greatest amount of fat possible. And if you spend 3 to 4 days doing that, what's gonna happen is you're gonna notice we're gonna be able to record and measure a significant drop in body fat. We're gonna use the scale to be able to do that, and that'll be also confirmed with inches, and then you can take pictures if you want to. You'll see a drop in body fat. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna spend 3 to 4 days doing nothing but muscle building. We're gonna eat for muscle building, and we're gonna train for muscle building. And what's gonna happen is you're gonna build, well, let me, I gotta back up. Whoa, sorry. Back up. Those 3 to 4 days that you spend losing fat, what happens as an unavoidable side effect, it's just the way it is. I don't care what you've been taught. This is the real biology. What happens is when you focus on just pure fat loss for 3 to 4 days, you will lose a little bit of muscle. I mean, it's a small amount. It's tiny. It's tiny. You won't even notice it. I mean, it's not even something that you can really measure from a strength, but it's just because the biology of it, it forces muscle loss. So whenever you're going through a prolonged period of fat loss, you are actually also forcing a little bit of muscle loss. Okay, that's just gonna happen. But then what we do is we switch it up. We go 3 to 4 days where we're gonna just focus on nothing but muscle building. What's gonna happen is you're gonna build a significant amount of muscle. After just 3 to 4 days, you're gonna notice a significant difference in your muscular gains. However, an unfortunate, unavoidable side effect of building a lot of muscle in a short period of time is biologically, there's nothing you can do about this. You will gain a little bit of body fat. So those of you, if you've ever put on a lot of muscle really fast, you know that you probably put on a little bit of chub at the same time. And then those of you who have lost a lot of body fat really fast, you've also noticed that you probably also lost a little bit of your muscle as well. That's just the reality, as the biological reality. The reason is, we get into this way deeper over there, you've got conflicting, contradicting hormones that just really have a hard time coexisting, that make it so that you just really can't do both simultaneously at the same time in your body. However, there's a way that we can get the result of as if it did happen simultaneously, because if you do what we teach you on the fat loss strategies, you will minimize your muscle loss. And if you do what we teach you on the muscle building strategies, you will minimize your fat gain. So then that way, if we take the muscle that you lost, and we just subtract that, I mean, we combine how much muscle did you lose versus how much muscle did you gain, and we take how much fat you gained versus how much fat you lost on this day, what we end up with is a net gain in muscle and a net loss in body fat. This is how you build muscle and lose fat at the same time. This is a weekly strategy. It is not something that you can biologically do simultaneously in any given moment. This is why you have to zigzag. For those of you who have spent your entire life trying to lose fat and build muscle at the same time, my guess is you've gotten really nowhere. At best, all you've really done is you've lost fat, maybe you gained some definition, but you never really built muscle. That's what most people end up doing, right? They make the mistake of putting themselves on a fat loss diet, and then they do muscle building exercises, and all that happens is they get a little bit more defined. That's it. This is how you're gonna get huge results in a very short period of time. That is like my favorite thing. We go through how to do this with, okay, we go through the rapid fat loss strategy on what that looks like. So check this out. I mean, this is how you get
your mind just gets blown. I mean,
Boku fat loss. We go through the whole strategy on how to do that. We show you how to be able to get huge amounts of muscle gain on this. So this is learning how to gain muscle without gaining any body fat. This is how you do it. This is how we do it. We blueprint the whole thing. Then what we do is we take all of that information, we put it together, and then we turn it into a real template for you. So we literally like just map out the days of the week so that you know exactly how to eat and how to work out. I mean, how much clarity does that give you? I mean, how amazing would that be for you to finally just hang up a calendar on your wall, because we're gonna build it there, and you know exactly what you need to be doing, how you need to be eating, and how you need to be working out every day of the week that you decide to work out, and the days that you don't work out, you know exactly how you're supposed to eat, and then you know you're going to get the fastest results humanly possible that will move toward whatever your dream body was that we helped get you really clear on. We go through and we use real case studies of our students. I mean, here's some before and afters of one of them. We go through and we apply this stuff. Here's another example of a student. One of ours helped him build a lot of muscle. I use myself. I've experimented with myself, and this is how I created so many of these things, is I've used myself as the experiment, applied my system, and then applied them on students, and it works all the time. And we just do case study after case study after case study so that you just become a super pro at being able to do this. And then before we conclude the entire event, I go through and I help you with some ninja tactics. This is about like what to do on Thanksgiving days or party days, or when you screw up your diet, or when you fall off the wagon, or if you have the flu or get really, really sick. How do you strategize your eating and your working out so that you can go to Thanksgiving and eat whatever the heck you want? You can go and celebrate and have a party, eat whatever you want, or have the flu, and then be able to get right back on your feet as if it never even happened to you.
Or even make it work for you.
Or in some cases, imagine being able to go to Thanksgiving dinner or Thanksgiving weekend, right? And come back on Monday actually fitter and in better shape than you were when you started, without having to restrict or avoid any bad foods.
Use your thumbprint.
That is that's the power of understanding how to master, or mastering this stuff. Not understanding, but mastery of this stuff. And and to me, that's real freedom. Being able to understand how to do whatever you want to your body at will.
No more stress about the holidays.
And then that concludes the entire amazing fitness and health program, guys. I'm so thank you so much for all those of you who stayed on for an extra 30 minutes. I'm so glad that you did. Those of you, like I said, you want to go to this. If you want to go to this, now's the time to go, because we're not doing one for probably next year. If we decide to do one next year, I'm not sure. I don't know how many spots we have left, but if you want to get yourself enrolled, you just go right underneath this video, and if you scroll down low enough, you'll see a registration button. It's $495. You save $300. Now, if we don't completely sell out of all 20 of those spots tonight or tomorrow, you've got until tomorrow to make that decision. It's got the dates and all that stuff. It's all there on the website. But after tomorrow, we're going to remove the promotion and we're going to sell it for what it really should be sold for. It's going to be $795 a person to be able to go to that. And it also includes the unlimited smoothie bonus. We'll go ahead and keep that in there. But after tomorrow, it goes up to $300 more, assuming there's more spots left. Okay, so now's the time to do it. And so let's go ahead and answer some questions, and then also let's talk about also who is this for? Like, who is the Amazing Fitness and Health program for?
Want to start there?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, you know, this is really something that can change your life no matter what's going on with you. We have so many people show up thinking they want help for one thing, and then they end up realizing that there was something else entirely that they really took from it. So this is for you if you are, you know, if you're struggling with your health, if you feel like you are searching for answers and you've tried everything. I mean, our favorite client is someone who's tried everything, right? Because I've done this diet, I've done that diet, I've gone to so many doctors, I've gone to so many things, and I'm still not healthy. If you're one of those people that's seeking it and you haven't found it yet, this is for you. We're gonna help you figure out exactly what's going wrong and why you're still sick so that you can get healthy. This is for you if you feel like you're not able to do the things you should. You know, people think that getting older means that you have more aches and pains and that you get fatter. Menopause means you get fatter. They think that, you know, wrinkles and all these things are just normal parts of aging. If you don't want to age like that, but you want to be just as strong and fit, if not more so, as you get older, then this is for you. Aging does not need to go that way. I had more aches and pains as a sick teenager than I do, and I'm going to be 40. So this is for you if you just want to slow down the aging process or make aging a really wonderful process where you feel strong and fit without aches and pains and without having all those, you know, wrinkles and issues with your skin. This is for you if you do struggle with skin disease. I mean, we have so many people come to us that have that problem. They have acne. They have all sorts of, you know, wrinkles or inflammation going on their skin. They have dry skin, scleroderma, other skin diseases. We'll show you exactly what you need to do to heal your body so that your body can then heal your skin. This is for you if you struggle with energy. If you're one of those people that if you don't have a cup of coffee, you're not going to make it through your morning. If you want to have endless amounts of energy without needing stimulants, there is no stimulant deficiency. There's no body system that requires a stimulant. If you require stimulants to get through your day, this is for you because you can have unlimited amounts of energy just by feeding yourself right. So you need to be here if that's you. If you just suffer with any kind of chronic pain, where you're just getting headaches all the time or any kind of pain throughout your body, arthritis, then you need to be there because this is going to change your life.
Okay, Paul French asks, what if I have a high metabolism and I'm vegan, but can't put on body weight muscle? Also, I have Marfan's and osteoporosis. So, you know, Paul, almost every single time I've had someone come up to me and they talk about that. They say that, you know, I can't seem to put on muscle no matter what I do. They're thin. They've been thin their entire lives. You know, all it is, it's just a matter of you haven't learned how to train the right way. So you might have learned the right exercises, but you haven't learned the right strategy. We go over like precisely how to do that. I'm going to go ahead and give you a tip right now. You're just not doing enough. You're just not working enough. Typically people that are really on the thin side, they also have a tendency to be better at endurance type of sports. And what that indicates is that you have a higher percentage of slow twitch muscle fibers. And so one of the things that we do, let me back it up so that way you can better understand it.
You had a client with Marfan's in your boot camp, but she did really well.
I had Marfan's, and now she wanted to get even thinner and more lean and ripped and stuff like that. But I've had lots of really skinny guys that wanted to figure out how to learn how to build more muscle. You know,
and even with Marfan's, you can.
I don't have it in my slides. I go through a whole section where I teach all the different muscle fiber types. And that's actually one of the biggest keys to understanding how to build muscle is that there's different muscle fiber types. So you're made up more of a muscle fiber type that is better at endurance. And because it's better at endurance, your typical 3 sets of 8 to 12 is just not going to cut it to build a lot of muscle. Doing super high weight all the time and lower repetitions will not work for you. You need to, and this, what I've created was a whole system that works for everybody. It doesn't matter if you're a slow twitch person who's thin all the time, or if you're a fast twitch person where you're just big and bulky over time, all the time, no matter what you do, and you've been that way your entire life. You got to know how to fully train and force every single type of muscle fiber to be able to grow at will. So in your case, you would need to learn how to fully train your slower twitch muscle fibers. Combine that with the right nutrition. So if you haven't been able to gain weight, that's a nutritional deficiency. What I mean by this is nutritional deficiency is relative. I'm speaking in the context of muscle building. You're simply not putting in enough of the nutrients it takes for your body to create excess tissue.
And it's also evident by the osteoporosis as well.
That's correct.
You know, that we can teach you how to eat in a way that you're going to maximize the benefits to your bones, even though you have an illness, that will also help you with, you know, exercise and the nutrition that'll help you get healthier, have healthier bones, and be able to put on muscle. Tom's a master at helping you understand why your muscles aren't doing what you want them to do.
Yep.
He's pretty amazing.
Oh, it's easy. It's really any problems that you have. Okay, so this is another big benefit of why you need to go. Anybody who's ever had a problem achieving a certain result in body transformation or health, this is why you go, is so we can uncover what the problem is and we can fix it.
We've never not figured it out.
That's right.
I mean, whenever somebody comes and goes, I can't figure out why I can't lose this fat, or I can't figure out why I still have this illness, we can always pinpoint what it is. It's always one of a certain set of issues. And so that's one of the things that we're really good at, is helping you understand it so that you can pinpoint it yourself, or if you're still struggling, we're right there with you and we can help you figure it out.
Okay, Avril Soto writes, my husband and I would love to go. However, he is having surgery in mid-July. Can we register and get a credit or refund in case he is not ready to travel by the date of the event? Avril, unfortunately, not for this one. It's
just so few spots. Because
there are only 20 total. It's just impossible. There's just no way that we could do that.
Maybe a friend could be a backup.
Because if you and your husband take up one, even two, or just one spot, that somebody else could have taken before all of them were sold out, then you've taken that spot. And then if you don't show up, then that's a spot that somebody else could have had. So unfortunately, we're not able to do that. So if you're, for those of you who are signing up, I mean, be completely committed to making this happen, right? I mean, this is a life-changing event. It's not something that you want to take lightly, but I know so many of you are just in the habit of putting yourself and your health and your body last. And in my opinion, it's time to stop that. You need to put your health first, because it's not just about you. There's people that are freaking counting on you. There's people that are probably looking up to you, and there's probably people that are modeling after you. Like, I know with our children, we have a 3-year-old and we have a 7-year-old. The way they're going to grow up to be as adults, guess what? They're learning from us, and it's not what we're telling them. It's what we're doing for ourselves. So this is a big deal. So I'm saying this is going to be for you if your health, if living life on your terms from a health standpoint, from a body standpoint is important to you, then you got to make this a priority. You absolutely do, because what we're offering you is literally the last course, program, or seminar that you will ever need to go to and completely master your body. There's no more gurus to follow. There's no more Googling that you have to do. You're going to know everything that you're going to need to be able to, at will, heal your body, keep it bulletproof in terms of health for the rest of your life, transform your body so you can be as thin as you want, or as lean as you want, or as strong as you want, or as muscular as you want for the rest of your life. I mean, when you get to that point, there's just nothing more that you need. We get asked all the time, have you heard of this? What do you think about this person's protocol or that person's protocol? We don't know what they are because we don't care. We've got a protocol that works better than anybody else's out there. And it's just why we just don't, that's not a need that we have anymore, because we've achieved mastery of the human body. So just imagine the freedom that gives you. You don't have to search anymore. You don't have to read any more freaking books anymore, because you understand how the body works to the point where you can create results at will. You get it? You can create the results at will. There's no more protocols. You don't need them. I mean, they're fun if you want to research them or whatever, but you don't need them anymore.
If you do, you'll be able to pick through them and go, oh, this is why this helps, because it has these things and I know why it helps, or this is why it's not going to give you the ultimate result. So
okay, Christy Lieber wrote, did you guys get room discounts by any chance? Okay, Christy, no, we don't have a block discount or anything like that. It's so cheap to get rooms in Vegas. I mean, just unbelievably. You don't have to stay where
we're doing the event.
That's right.
But I mean, there's rooms for like $30. I think Circus, you can get a room for $30 a night. I mean, we picked that city because we don't want that to be an issue.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
It is so cheap. But no, I think it's like 100, maybe 120, 130 bucks a night if you want to stay at the Green Valley Ranch,
which is gorgeous,
resort,
by the way, if you
which
want
is
to
cool.
stay
But
there.
then you got to pay an extra like $30 resort fee. My recommendation, if you're trying to save money, just stay down the street. I mean, where we are is no further than like 10 minutes away from, or 15 minutes away, even from like the furthest like resort where they're going to sell just absolutely economically priced rooms that you can get. It's so inexpensive to stay in Vegas. Okay, let's see. Caitlin Wright, I've done the 10-day tummy tightener before, and I'm a member of the Smoothie Challenge. Is there an optimal way to combine these two with the Zigzag idea you outlined? Smoothie Challenge and 10-day tightener, 10-day tummy tightener. Think of 10-day tummy tightener as the next step to the Smoothie Challenge. So what you're missing is the muscle building, and so that's outlined in the Vegan Muscle Project, and I talk about how to implement Zigzag dieting and Zigzag training in the Vegan Muscle Project. Okay, and Rebecca, hey Becky, my old high school buddy. You guys are awesome. What's the promo code? There's no promo code. It's right now priced at $4.95. So we'll
change the price after tomorrow.
Yep. So the price. So since we're using Eventbrite, we just automatically told Eventbrite that on July 7th, boom, like right at midnight, or yeah, like first thing on July 7th, increase the price to regular price. Okay, so you guys get the discounted price now, $4.95 with and it also includes the unlimited smoothies as well. All right, let's see if we got any more questions, and then we're going to call it a night.
It's so important to really connect with, when you're thinking about doing something like this, a lot of people have trouble doing something just for themselves. I mean, they say, okay, I want more, you might say, I want more energy. I wish I could feel better. I wish I could look better. All these different things. Sometimes it's hard to justify things in that way of like really doing something for yourself, which is sad because it's important. But I know for me, when I think about what gets me going every day, it's not just about me being healthy, although I am so addicted to how good I feel, but it's about my purpose. So for me, why I do this is because, one, I have someone who loves me, who wants to grow old with me, and I want to do that for him and to be with him. I have 2 children that are counting on me to be there in their lives, and not just like laying on the couch in aches and pains, but actively participating in their lives. I want to see them grow up. I want to see my grandkids. I want to run around with my grandkids and my great-grandkids. So, and then on top of that, there's all these people out there that need to hear what I know so I can help people heal. I need to teach doctors. I need to teach every single person out there all the information that's in my head. So for me, that's why. That's my why of why I need to do this. So I really encourage you to think about all of the aspects of why you need to do this for yourself, because there are people who love you, who need you to be as healthy and strong as possible because they need you in their life. Whether it's your family or it's the people who you're, helping out there in the world. But, the world needs you to be as healthy and strong as you can be so you could give that natural gift that you were born with to the world. So it's such an important thing to connect with that, I really believe we're all here for a reason. We all have a gift we're meant to give. And when you're homesick, you can't give that gift. And then the whole world misses out on what you were here for. So it's just such a huge, there's nothing more important in my mind than nurturing your body and taking care of your health and there's nothing.
No, I agree. I agree. And it even comes down to the self-esteem standpoint. It's just, I've noticed just in my life, and then I also see how it affects my clients' lives. My clients' lives get better as a result of them moving towards better health and what they consider a better physique for themselves. Why? It's the exact same reason why so many of us feel more confident, feel better about ourselves, and notice that our self-esteem goes up when we are best dressed. When ladies, when you have you're straight out of the salon, you've got your favorite clothes on, and guys, when we're just suited up and we look awesome and everybody's complimenting us, the same way you feel about that is the same way you get to feel about your body every single day. Yeah. Once you start moving into that direction, and when when you've mastered the ability to control that at will, it's just, you solve so many of your self-confidence and self-esteem problems. How many times out of the week have you caught yourself complaining or getting down about yourself for the way you felt or the way you looked? How many times have you caught yourself trying on an outfit or some pants, or even wearing some pants that you own, and then almost hating yourself for the way you look or felt? That's just, You know, that's just horrible. It's horrible that you feel that way. And instead of, I mean, it's one thing you definitely want to work on, because we should all be loving ourselves and accepting ourselves for exactly the way we are.
Yes.
And at the same time, there's something that you have direct control over. You can completely solve that. But you know, here's the big secret, is that it's not about getting to the destination. It's once you start moving and putting the action towards moving in that direction, that is the act of self-love that automatically builds self-esteem and automatically builds self-confidence. And then all of a sudden, the end result, that means that, you know, whether you want to have the six-pack or the inches off, that starts to kind of fade away. And this is what most people kind of experience, is that starts to fade away, and they start realizing that's not really what I want. That's not really what's important to me. What's important to me is that I start really treating my body well and paying attention to myself. There's
nothing that's more about self-love than the way you feed yourself and the way you use your body. When you start really taking care of yourself in that way, you fill yourself with all that love that you usually give out to everybody else. And you feel so different. People's confidence goes up even before they get all the results. It's like, as soon as they start taking care of themselves, they want to be in the spotlight and give their gifts, because they feel so good about themselves. So,
and what sucks more than anything is working your butt off and then not getting results. And then what sucks even more than that is not knowing what the heck to do about it. Not knowing what happened. This is where so many people run into the mistake of just jumping to wild conclusions, making up theories about why they weren't able to achieve a result, or why they got a negative result they didn't like.
And that's in their health too. Yeah.
They make up stuff, and then they commit action. They commit action based on just really strange conclusions, and then that leads them to further error, which leads them down this whole spiral. And you know, what I see a lot of people doing is just concluding that nothing's going to work for them. They have some genetic problem, disorder, and it's just, once we get our hands on you and once we teach you and help you master the stuff, you'll never ever be a victim of that again, ever, for the rest of your life. So that's all we got. I think that's all the questions that we have right now. Oh, Carrie asks, thanks for your time. I have to go to work. Oh, are you guys going to keep the Smoothie Shred group open? Carrie, we're not done with it yet. We still have the end of the week to go, and we'll make a big announcement about what's going to be the future of our Smoothie Shred group. I'll tell you one thing. It's been such a touching experience for us, and we couldn't be more happy and proud of every single one of you that are in it.
Actually, you guys inspired us to do this, you know, to give you this preview and to let people, you know, who maybe might not be able to go to Vegas, even just be able to participate a little bit. You know, we've always wanted, like, all we do is give, like, we just want to share with people as much as we can, whether we're in the supermarket or at the gym, we're healing people, we're helping people. And so when we created that group, those of you who haven't heard of it, SmoothieShred.com, we created a free group to just help people start getting fitter, and totally free. And over 1,900 people from all over the world joined. And we have been in tears every day, tracking your progress, watching you guys support each other. Oh my God. I mean, literally just watching the way you love each other. When somebody posts something, putting themselves down, you all just jump up and love them so much. By the time I read it, I don't have anything to add. I'm like, you guys did that for each other. And so we've just been so honored and just overwhelmed to be a part of this, and to have been able to see what you guys are doing for yourselves, that we wanted to give you something more. And that's why we created this discount. I mean, normally we wouldn't even offer it at that price, but we just wanted to do something even more, just to reward you for all the hard work you're doing for your bodies and for each other. Like, it's just been so inspiring. So thank you, because you guys have changed our lives. Like, being a part of that group and watching you guys grow and love each other and love yourselves has literally changed us every single day. And so we're so grateful for you. We just wanted to give you even more. And that's why we're doing this. That's why we did this tonight.
Yeah. We want to say, just from the bottom of both of our hearts, just thank you so much for taking the time out of your days and your evenings to be here with us. And we especially thank you so much for trusting us with your precious time. I hope you got a lot of nuggets out of this. The replay will be available for a little while. It's just hard to keep 2-hour videos online. It actually, what a lot of people do is, you know, it's going to be on it's YouTube. And just so you understand why it's not going to be on forever, is that my ratings are affected by how long people stay on these videos. And so if the general public starts, you know, when I mean, this is available to the general public. And so when they start viewing this video and people who don't know us or had no idea we were doing this, when they realize it's a 2-hour video and they only stay on for about 5 minutes, it actually severely hurts my ratings of all my other 500 videos that I have on YouTube. So
and that lets less people motivated to get his help because they'll be like, oh,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
who's
So
this
that's
guy?
so that and yeah, and that's exactly why. So that's why this replay won't be available for very long. So we'll keep it available for at least through tomorrow, maybe a day after that. But that's pretty much the limit that we can keep it on before it starts backfiring on us. Okay. So I hope you got a, well, yeah, I think it's about, yeah. So I hope you got a lot out of this. We love you. We love you all. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
And have a wonderful night where you are, and wishing you a beautiful morning or a beautiful day if you're on the other side of the planet.
Bye.
Bye.